microphone, he's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with
And now they get to go to Denver and Minnesota.
That'll get them back on track.
It might. And the unpredictable, and I say unpredictable, I mean, I think that's been the easiest narrative to say about the Kings when people are like, well, how do you think the rest of the year is going to go? I think we had this question maybe a while back. So probably more the same, and it's been more the same. I think the question was like the last game against the Clippers, but the one before the break against Denver, those kind of wins gave me belief that, okay, there's more to this team than maybe we're even seeing. And like, I see it. It could be here. And then last night, wasn't sure. I don't know. We'll get your input on this, kind of where you felt it was, because I know the easiest narrative, and we'll talk about it, and we're going to have some numbers later in the show about how the Kings played against a team that was undermanned, and the Kings always lose. We'll have some numbers to support that. I don't want to say it was as typical as that, but you're trying to figure out why. I mean, Miami still had enough capable people, and they played hard, and they played in their system.
And they executed.
Perfectly. I mean, if you think about it, if you watched any part of the game, Chris, I would say, and you were there, if you were at the game from about the 10-minute mark, I wrote this down in my stats, keeping the running score. They were down 20, so that was the game high, down 20. By the 6-minute mark, or 5-minute mark, it was 2 possession. Usually it takes you about a quarter. Like, I thought if the Kings are going to do this, they might catch them in the last, minute to 30 seconds. Well, the Kings made it 2 possessions with, 5 minutes to go. They got it to...
Bolstro is hot.
They got it to 2 with 3.5. So, by definition, the Kings have the better record. They're at home. The building is absolutely electric. You don't have all your guys. And then you withstood that. I mean, that's a heck of a win for Miami for multiple reasons. So I know that hurts. It does for everybody that was there. We will discuss that. Jason Ross, Christopher Lott here. We've got all our typical stuff here on the Tuesday. We'll look back on our predictions for the game. We also will have to look ahead to Denver. Man, the Kings have, Denver. The Kings have defeated them 3 times. Well, they haven't defeated them when they're fully healthy. Tomorrow they will be. So that will be a challenge for Sacramento. 3 for Madness. Who's hot, who's not, all those typical things that we've got for you here on a Tuesday. So, yeah, no Carmichael Dave today. Hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow. We don't know. We'll see. I know they're out and about on that trip. Had some good fun. Hopefully they'll be back, and he'll be back and feeling better soon. I would say this, Chris. I don't know how you are as a consumer of products. Like, if you were to go somewhere, are you easily influenced by someone if they're trying to sell you something? I mean, do you need an example, I guess?
Yes.
Let me see if I can, because I'm trying to get to my ultimate example. But let's say if you ever go to Costco and there's someone like, hey, you interested in?
Oh, I walk right by.
Those are easy no's, aren't they? Like there was one time, And I told someone else this, like, perfect. I'm going to use that as my line. I said, no, that was legitimately my line. There's a guy that was very persistent. This was in a Costco, probably, maybe it's almost 10 years ago now. But there were people that were always selling stuff for DirecTV. Hey, you look like you like DirecTV? You want DirecTV? I said, no. He goes, what do you got? You interested? What do you like? You look like you like sports. I said, I do. He goes, DirecTV, we got blah, blah, blah. We got all this. I go, do you guys have Pac-12 network? He's like, no, that's the one thing. I go, not interested. He's like, yeah, but we got it. I go, do you have the Pac-12 network? He goes, no. I go, I'm not interested. That's the only reason I have the company. I mean, that's what I want. And he's like, man, all right, well, we're working on it, and as I'm walking away.
Now we find out he's the one behind all the schools leaving the Pac-12.
Exactly. He started the run 10 years ago. So like that, I'm with you. Like that one's an easy one to kind of say no. But I don't know that I'm necessarily influenced by seeing a commercial, or if you see like, oh man, that hamburger looks great. Let's have a hamburger tonight.
See, like that.
Does that get you?
That does. And like when something new comes out, it's like, well, I got to try that.
The gimmick. Yeah. I mean, I am a gimmick king. I'll do that. But I'm trying to think, like, it might not be, it might be what's on right now. Wendy's. I don't know the last time I had Wendy's. I might see a burger and go, that looks good, but I don't get Wendy's.
Yeah.
I might go, oh, let's have a hamburger tonight.
Oh, I
Does
see
that
what you're
work?
saying.
You know what I mean? Like it's the commercial, the imprinting, I guess, is working in the brain, but I'm like, yeah, I don't really want Wendy's.
I don't want to go all the way over there.
No, but let's make hamburgers, or let's go to get a hamburger. So anyway, by my house, I would say there's a newer-ish Starbucks, and I don't drink coffee. And I was going through and I got a little egg wrap or whatever this morning. And I think I've done this at this particular place maybe 4 or 5 times in probably the last 3 weeks, but I'm not every day there. And so that's all I got. And the lady, when she was ready, she's like, oh man. And when I heard it was you, or I don't know if they can see you now and drive through. She goes, I had your orange juice ready. And I guess I do order an orange juice every time, but today I decided not to. And I go, oh, well, give me the orange juice. And I don't know why I didn't order the orange juice. She goes, man, I was so sure. I was just telling everybody in here you were going to get an orange juice. And I was like, yeah, I thought you'd have one. I go, okay, just add it on. So that's where I could, like, maybe I felt like in my mind, like, oh, I'm going to be disappointing her because she kind of called her shot.
Yeah.
And I think of the 5 times I've been there, I've gotten this wrap and an orange juice every time. And today, for whatever reason, I said, just that. She goes, okay. And then I pulled up and she's like, yeah, I knew it was you. I was sure you were going to get an orange juice. I went, oh,
gotta give it to me now.
Juice. Yeah. So was that, I mean, I'll drink this. I have no problem. I usually get this. I'm not upset.
I'm trying to think of places where I was regulars at.
And I don't think like that. And maybe it's because I guess everybody gets coffee.
Well, then, like
Starbucks.
To be fair, like how many regulars are coming in? Like you're a regular
at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, they open at 5. And
like if you're doing the same thing at 9 o'clock, it's pretty forgettable.
And it's the same lady. I mean, it's I don't know her name. She doesn't know mine, but it's like, I guess it is predictable. But she was ready. I'm like, throw it in there. Go ahead. I'll pay for it. Go ahead. But I think that I can be. It is harder when you put a face, like, I guess this, how about this? If you've gone through same situation at Costco and you try a sample and they're like, yeah, these are your breakfast burritos, whatever calories they've got, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, ooh, that's good. And they're like, yeah, you should get them there. And now I feel like I'm disappointing the lady if I say they're good, even though I don't really think she has any investment in it. I'm like, okay, I'll go get the breakfast burrito. They're good.
I think we found out how to sell to you, Jason.
Exactly. Just show up, really pull at the heartstrings.
If the guy selling you the DirecTV, if he said he's like, no, we don't have Pac-12, but we have SNL. You like that, right? Well, that's on everything. Yeah, but you like it, right? Well, yeah,
I do.
Oh,
yeah.
Just over here.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take 2. We need. I don't have another house, but I might give one away as a Christmas present. Yeah, sucker. So you don't have an example of that where you're easily, I don't even know if this would be same qualified as easily influenced, but it is hard sometimes for people to say no. I know
if I'm trying to think, I'm usually like a sucker for the add-on. It's like, oh, if you like this, we'll try this. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Or And sometimes I'm trying to figure
out
the
upsell. Like if I'm already there and they get you with the upsell, I'm usually.
It's like, hey, this orange juice was $3.99, but it's for 12 more ounces, it's $4.99. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Or whatever that I'll fall for quite a bit. And then sometimes you get that, I didn't want that much orange juice.
Yeah, you end up leaving that.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't think I saved any money. I don't think I got any kind of bonus out of that. Yeah, the upsell is good. The other one I do fine with, but it's hard when and this doesn't happen that much. When was the last time someone showed up at your door trying to sell something?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So someone showed up to my door.
Like recently?
Yeah, but it wasn't, kind of selling something. It was someone running for city council. And so it's like, hi, how you doing? I'm from the neighborhood. It's like, okay. And it's like really nice. And like, I'm here for, I can't even remember the person's name. And like, they're running for city council in your neighborhood. I was just like, oh, okay. Like, they're a realtor. They're really working hard. I'm like, no.
You can stop.
They're like, no. They're a realtor, but they're working hard for the community. I'm like, stop. I'm sorry. It's not. It just feels like in my neighborhood, like realtors have kind of like messed everything up.
Oh yeah.
So
that's always a tough one too when someone gets started on their pitch and you're like, I already know it's a no. And do you let them finish? Do you stop them? Are you being, is it rude to stop them? Is it better to stop them?
Because it was one of those things of just like, I'm just going to say, no, thank you at the end of this.
Yeah.
I might as well let you go on your way.
Yeah. I've done sometimes have you ever had the kids coming by in the neighborhood like, hey, sometimes it's magazine subscriptions, which I'm like, I don't, who does that? Like, I don't, or if it's, I'm selling these candy bars, but you also get this. I'm like, you know what? I don't care about that. I'll get $5 in candy bars or whatever just to help them.
Yeah, we get the kids, but they're kids in the neighborhood. I know who they are.
Yeah, and if they're trying to do a trip, like that's cool. But or like you know what? I don't even want the candy. Here's $10. Have, good luck on your.
Now that you say that, the big sellers are the friends' kids.
Yes.
Like, hey, they need to raise money for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know my wife and son, they're selling candy for school every year. You bought there this
always
year. Yeah, they come through. Like he is basically funding that whole school. My wife experience as a salesperson, and my son just his story gets everybody to, I don't know. He sells like I think they say people, for example, and I don't have the numbers, but people sell a few boxes of candy at Christmas time, and then my wife and son, they're like thousands of dollars worth of candy that they're. Like we get boxes and boxes at the house that she's sorting for days.
Yeah, I've seen like the huge box that you just bring in here.
Oh, and that's one of probably maybe a dozen to 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I guess I don't have that selling background. My wife certainly does, and she and my son can pull that off. All right, well, we're going to do it. We got to lead off. We're going to get into the Kings. A disappointing night for Sacramento. Really a tough week ahead. It was so encouraging to get the win against the Clippers, and things were lined up to make it back-to-back and go to 4 straight and pick up a half game on everybody. Miami had other ideas, and now it sets up for a tough rest of the week. We've got leading off and more straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app. What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
Huge savings on our remaining 2023 Rams as we make room for the hundreds of 2024s arriving daily. This month, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And you won't find a better selection of new Ram trucks in Northern California with over 500 Rams available.
Well, that sounds like a good deal, but why drive all the way to Hoblet, Chad?
For 4 generations, we prided ourselves on being the small town dealer with big city selection and savings. When you buy from Hoblet, you're family, which is why so many of our customers come back and buy from us time after time.
Come to Hoblet and see what it's like to be treated like family at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 74.88 factory rebates and 75.12 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction bonus cash. Must have purchased eligible with new case equipment qualify and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be carry a member of eligible first responder association. 5 with this net savings. Symbol VIN 700008.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
He had the ball. Jaquez on the right wing in three-point range against Sabonis. Now he digs toward the baseline, retreats for the dribble, under and up, and he scores 2 more. This kid plays like a 7-year veteran in this league. Jaime Jaquez from UCLA with 25 points.
It's about the footwork. Man, Jaime Jaquez put on a clinic. Miami and the Heat come into Sacramento and do what they did just a few weeks ago. Similar situation. They were down several players. They were taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. They won by 20-plus points. Heat culture is the thing. They're well coached. And I will say this, Chris brought it up earlier, execution by Miami, it was spot on. They were getting punched. The Kings had a furious comeback. The energy, I'm telling you, it was as loud as it gets in Golden 1. It was intense. Chris, you send me this periodically. You've done this to me if we're in studio and you're running the board where you're like, Kings might be down 25. You're like,
I was sitting right next to Whitey, and I said, when they were down 20, I said, oh, as one of the jokes, when I used to do the games and it'd just be a terrible night, I would say, all you need to do is steal 3, steal 3, steal 3, steal 3, and you cut it down to 15.
Yeah, and you're right there. And they were on their way. And it was 20 this time. And before long, boom, 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 3 straight threes and a couple steals in there. And it's 11. And then timeout Miami. And then the Kings just kept charging. They went into that matchup zone, pressured more. Miami started to miss shots and turn the ball over. Kings were making everything. And it got all the way down to 2. And it's one of those things, you know, it doesn't really matter how you lose, whether it's by 30 or the heartbreaker by 1. I do appreciate the effort. I do appreciate the comeback. I do, there was a sense of urgency at the end of the third quarter. There was a little bit of booing going on because I think the Kings, as you know, a lot of coaches will use the phrase "let go of the rope," and this was different than a run. It was like Miami was making a run. Miami was making some tough shots. And then, an 8-point lead, an 8-point deficit should not have gotten all the way to 20. It just shouldn't. And it did. And you only had 10 minutes to go. And to their credit, they did do everything possible to come back, but you have to be almost perfect. And they were for about 5.5 minutes. But they needed about 3 more minutes of that. And they ended up losing by double digits after getting it to 2 with about 3 minutes to go. So Miami, on a couple of different notes, too, we're going to talk more about this, is probably one of the worst teams to play on the second night of a back-to-back. That's a fact. It's not even I'm looking for reasons of the loss, not excuses. Miami won the game. I said that yesterday. If the Kings lose games, which they're going to lose, you want to lose the game. You want to have it, you don't want to lose the game. You want the other team to beat you. And I felt like that was more of the case. The problem is, this is adding on to the past resume of the 23-24 Sacramento Kings of games that they've given away. And so I didn't feel like this was as much of that, but it kind of doesn't even matter. Let's say they totally gave it away. It's still a loss. Let's say Miami earned it 100%. It's a loss. Let's say the Kings had all their players. They did. It's a loss. Miami had hardly half their, starters. It's a loss. It's just all that is irrelevant. We can add it on to our narratives, which we will, and we will do today. But the Kings have to figure out the why. Why did they lose? We can give excuses, or I don't even like the term excuses, reasons. Give reasons so you can figure out how you fix it. Miami's zone seemed to be a little bit of a problem. Miami's size certainly was. I will say they were hunting mismatches. You heard the highlight there of Jaime Jaquez. They had more in their absence of key players like guards like Hero and Rozier. They decided to play bigger. I don't think the Kings played big enough. And so now you're looking for a reason. What did they do? They posted up Kevin Love, his stretch where he was posting up either Herter or Monk. Then they switched Lyles in there. Fox had him a couple times. He was hurting those guys. When he wasn't posting, there was physical play from guys like Caleb Martin. Certainly Bam was a problem. And then Jaime Jaquez. They had multiple people posting up. A lot of teams don't do that. And Sacramento really couldn't find the answer. Well-coached team. That played well. Miami won. Bad loss for the Sacramento Kings. Let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Like a desert on Neptune. Like they're in trouble. Like this Schefter report is bad news for all of these guys because like all of the market factors that led to last year's controversy and varying degrees of holdouts and Zoom calls about the state of the running back market, all those factors are still present in this year's market. And now you are flooding the market with high quality available guys, which is only going to drive prices down. Look, it is possible that there's a team out there that says, hey, we really need Saquon Barkley. He's special. He fits with us, or same Derrick Henry, whatever. That could happen for one or two of these guys. But you know, Schefter also reporting the Giants want to talk to Saquon about an extension. He might want to listen because it's likely he's not going to find what he's dreaming about if he does hit the open market.
That's Dan Graziano talking about the market for running backs. It's been this issue for a while. This may be at the peak moment for the devaluing of the position. It's ironic the same year that Christian McCaffrey plays like an MVP and is a huge reason why the Niners were so successful. The running back class could have free agents like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and that kind of offseason with an upcoming draft and people feeling like plug-and-play running backs are a thing you can just do. The running back market is really at an all-time low, and personally, I don't understand it. And I don't know if it will cycle back. I mean, we're in a pass-happy league, but we love the running backs that can catch and run and do versatile things, and highlighted by a guy like Christian McCaffrey. Jacobs led the league in rushing 2 years ago. Derrick Henry's been one of the best runners of this generation, and these guys are going to be available. We know the age and where the cliff seems to be, but I think all running backs have been treated like this, whether you're rookies or 6, 7, 8 year pros. And so it's a really interesting time for the NFL, specifically for that position. We'll discuss this a little bit more as the show rolls along. All right, let's get to our final cut here on Leading Off.
Cut number 3.
The absolute worst call of the season. No call. And enough's enough. We've done it the right way. We've called the league. We've sent in clips. We're sick of hearing the same stuff over and over again. We had a chance to win the game, and the guy dove into Asar's legs, and there was a no call. That's an abomination. You cannot miss that in an NBA game, period. And I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of our guys asking me, what more can we do, coach? That situation is exhibit A to what we've been dealing with all season long, and enough's enough. You cannot dive into a guy's legs in a big-time game like that and there be a no call. It's ridiculous, and we're tired of it. We just want a fair game called, period. And I got nothing else to say. We want a fair game, and that was not fair. I'm done.
Now I'm done. That's Monty Williams, frustrated coach. Been a really tough year for the Detroit Pistons. They battled yesterday with the Knicks, had their chances to win, but he's there. You heard it about the officials. I know last week when we talked to Sam Amick from The Athletic here, he was saying he was kind of doing a dive a little bit in on officiating, and I'm anxious to see where that's going to go. Look, there's always going to be calls that are missed. We realize that, but is this becoming more and more of an issue league-wide? I don't know. I mean, coaches are feeling more and more comfortable speaking out. You have Monty Williams yesterday. We've had Mike Brown here bring out the laptop before. We have the Lakers, who a lot of people don't feel sorry for, who always lead the league in free throws, complained 2 days ago about the free throw disparity. So, you know, you talk enough about this stuff, perception becomes reality, right? And so now the fans, I mean, it happens in every arena. It's not unique to anywhere, but, you know, the ref, you suck. I mean, that's happens just about every night in the NBA when fans are upset. That part, you know, doesn't get to me as much, but that's, again, back to the perceptions of reality. These guys are terrible. Well, they get a lot of calls right. The coaches know that, but there are missed calls. And what is the pushback for coaches, for the players? What's their reward if the call is missed? I guess you just accept the mistake and move on. Or in this case, you go to the media and complain about it and see if you can get something done differently the next time. Well, the Kings are going to see if they can have something done differently the next time, and that next time is tomorrow. Kings will be traveling to Denver today. The good news is they're 3-0 against Denver. That also might be the bad news. The champs should be angry. So should the Kings, though. That's my point on the Kings. Like, look, I know, and I'll probably say it again later today and even tomorrow when the Kings are facing the Denver Nuggets. You know, Michael Malone, Jokic, all those guys will want to, 0-1 to the Kings. But the Kings should be mad about last night. And if they're a good team, which their record suggests they are, and they've played well at times this year, they've played Denver well, they should equally be as mad. It shouldn't just be assumed that, much like a lot of people thought, oh, the Heat don't have all their guys, Kings should be able to win. We know it doesn't work that way. We want it to work that way. It doesn't. We'll kind of look back at what went right, what went wrong. Looking back, our first kind of look into that Kings Heat loss last night. We've got that next on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
It's been estimated that we lose more than 400 million golf balls globally every year. Hitting it in the fairway is a great way to prevent lost balls, but Golf Magazine's Josh Sen says, we can do better, people. First, play the right tees. The architect designed the placement of hazards for different handicaps. Second, find a reference point. Pick a tree, a shack, or a path where the shot was headed, and keep it locked as you head off the tee. Third, maybe use a highly visible ball. You've got a better crack at tracking your ball if it's the color of a lemon or a tangerine. And anecdotal evidence suggests there's something freeing about knocking around a cartoonishly colored golf ball. 4, do not look away in disgust. A natural reaction to a slice or duck hook is to turn away. As hard as it is to find an errant shot, it's even tougher if you don't know where to look. And finally, be a good scout. Instead of fiddling with your phone, keep an eye on your partner shots. The more time you spend watching, the less time you spend looking. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Welcome to a brand new year filled with limitless possibilities at Kia of Vacaville. Prepare yourself for an extraordinary driving adventure as we present our impressive 2024 vehicle lineup. Step into the future with state-of-the-art technology, groundbreaking features, and the sleek design that has become synonymous with Kia. Immerse yourself in the dynamic performance of the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating power. Experience the fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Indulge in the sophistication of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending luxury and versatility. Don't overlook our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, ideal for those who prioritize efficiency without sacrificing style. If you're in search of the EV9, Kia of Vacaville has it in stock or available for delivery. Visit Kia of Vacaville today and cruise into 2024 with confidence and style. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets the road. Elevate your drive. Elevate your year. Model availability and features may vary. Please see the dealership for details.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
A Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
That's right. You can check in with us this morning. Text line 916-339-1140. Phone lines 800-920-1140. We will have our Jiffy Lube drive of the game, which was one heck of a play. There were some good highlights in the game last night, for whatever that's worth. Entertaining, engaging game. That's fine. But a lot of you out there are diehard, passionate Kings fans. And I wanted the Kings to win. That one hurt to lose. That one really did. Miami got the best of the Kings last night, and so Sacramento had a chance to get a season-high 11 games above 500. Instead, they go back to work now with two very difficult road games coming up, Wednesday in Denver and Friday in Minnesota. Jason Ross here with you, Chris Verlot as well, Carmichael Dave out today. As we look at last night, what went right, what went wrong, we'll kind of look back. We'll do a little audio playback of things last night, and first half was a little back and forth. You could tell you were going to be in for a game really from the get-go. Miami plays hard. They're committed to a style and to a system. And, we talk so much about culture, but the Heat culture really is a thing. I mean, it's a top-down approach from Pat Riley, and they've had it for years. And there's something about organizations that win that much and that consistently and have enough talented players that, yeah, they were missing significant pieces. I don't want to belittle that, but this is a team, I think G-Man said it during the broadcast, I want to say they have 5 or 6 players that are undrafted that are on their roster. So their player development, how they get everybody better, maximizing the talent that they have, they draft well, they add free agencies, just timely people. And, they did make the finals last year and really tested Denver. So it's a good team. Well, we can't, think that this isn't the same to me as a loss to Charlotte or Portland or some of these other teams that have been defeated the Kings this year. This is a proven winning team, a team that had been playing better, a team that had more rest than the Kings. Those are reasons for the win, but the Kings still had every opportunity to get the victory. And let's listen back to a couple of different things here as we're going to kind of fast forward to later in the game. After all that early back and forth, Kings had that push in the second quarter, got up to a 10-point lead. By halftime, they were trailing. And going into the fourth, it was already going to be a problem for the Kings. And too many guys for Miami were hot and displaying some great post-ups and good footwork.
Here's a drive by Jaquez. He spins, he reaches, he scores. This kid is really impressive. He's going to be first-team All-Rookie. I don't think there'll be any doubt about that. He's now up to 21 points.
Yeah, Jaime Jaquez was terrific. He really was. I saw a couple of people comment. We had one earlier on our chat group. Said they turned the game out. Here it is from Kev. I turned the game off when Bam hit the fadeaway buzzer beater to go up 19. Just wasn't the Kings' night. I think here's that one that actually might have put him up 20 here.
The Bam Adebayo who's been in. Kings have not been able to slow him down tonight. He's in the paint against Trey Lyles. Trey knocks it away, dives to the floor, got a hand on it. Bam controls it, out of time, launches a shot, and scores it. And they say he got rid of it in time. Boy, what a great effort that was from Adebayo.
Chris, Bam had that one, and then Jaquez had one where he had all the right footwork, but it was so well defended, and he just kind of threw up a super high baseline floater, and it went straight in. I'm just like, I don't know that the Kings can beat them when things like this are happening.
Or how about, like, there were, I want to say 3 or 4 times where it felt like where they would defend so well and they'd shoot up a prayer at the end, miss, and
offensive
then
rebound.
It wouldn't even be an offensive rebound. It'd be like
out.
tip,
Yeah.
and then they've got the ball.
Yeah, and it was a tip to like kind of a 50-50 spot. Not even 50, like where the Kings were trying for it. Like sometimes you're like, hey, where's the effort? But they were getting all of them.
Yeah.
They were getting all of them. But they built that 20-point lead. And so You're thinking it's just about over, but sometimes you just need a few things to go your way. As Chris would say, 3 steal, 3 steal, 3 steal. Well, it started to happen.
Drops it off to Herder. In rhythm for 3. Score. Well, Sabonis will now be 1 assist away from a triple-double. That makes it 105-89. What the Kings need is defensive stops, and they've got one. A ball poked away from Hawkes, grabbed by Herder. Herder on the right wing. Is he going to launch again? Throws a no-look pass to the far corner. Keegan for 3. He's got the triple. There's new hope and new life for Kings fans. With 8:12 to go, it's now 105-92, and Keegan has a 20-point ball game.
I want to know if you heard this in the game, Chris. I thought Keegan was amazing last night. He was on such a run there. In that run where it was getting really loud, there was a couple times where he would score, and I might hear the start of Moko, Keegan, and I didn't even really hear Murray just because everything was just loud. Like, did you hear Murray? Like, that one I heard it clean.
Yeah, you definitely heard it.
But there's a couple times, like, it was in there, but it was a kind of blended in with just people going nuts, too.
That was actually one of the loudest I've heard the arena.
I thought so, too. I mean, the last couple of home games has been really great. There's a energy that's been lifted from the fans, too, but this was just the start of the run, so Sacramento's pushing and needing things to go well. They were getting blocks and stops and steals, and here goes De'Aaron Fox.
Ball fake by Hawkes, best baseline, digs to the paint, gives it up. The ball's knocked loose by Herder. It's grabbed by Fox, cruises up the left wing. He takes it all the way to the rim and scores. De'Aaron Fox with double-digit scoring in the fourth quarter now has a 27-point game. Sacramento was within 2 at 110-108.
And again, there was about 3.5 minutes to go, so they've done all the heavy lifting. They get it to 2. Energy galore. They feel it. But Miami would have the answers. They would respond. They would continue to put the dagger in the hearts of the Kings.
Working almost straight away, has picked up his dribble. He's looking for help. He finds Adebayo against Sabonis. Now Fox picks up Bam. Bam with a dribble handoff to Robinson. Back to Adebayo at the free throw line. Shakes, turnaround Jay. That's his bread and butter, and he scores it. 116-110. We're down to 1:16 to go.
All right, 2-possession game there. Got to be perfect. And the Kings now are down 8 here, trying to make something happen.
Now to right, throws left wing. Here's a drive by Caleb Martin, and the rip off the dribble is good. The Miami fans come to their feet in the building. It's now an 8-point game with 47 seconds to go. Kings have no time. Here's Trey Lyles going to the back, and he's rejected by Bam Adebayo, and that will be the dagger. Pouring sounds, and this one is over. So the Miami Heat have won for the 8th time in the last 10 games. They do it in convincing fashion. Sacramento had a 55-45 lead in the first half, but that 10-point advantage was pared down to a 3-point deficit at halftime as Miami finished the second quarter on a 20-7 run. Then they finished the third quarter on a 10-0 run. They led by 20, as we mentioned, with 10 minutes to go, and the Kings got it down to 2 points at 110-108, but they couldn't get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, frustrating. I mean, that's the kind of ongoing up and down roller coaster season it's been. I think this is something, too, we've got to remember year to year. I know there's common phrasing. I've done this so long that you go, this Kings team wouldn't have done this last year. I think there were some elements that they did. But I think we need to kind of quantify and remember and remember what this year was like. And it brings up questions, too. Look, the Kings elected to bring this group back. They elected to not there were no moves available that they were comfortable with at the All-Star break. When you have losses like this, when you've had losses that you had during the season, it makes you question all those things, right? And I said it earlier in the show, when you win the games like they did, the game that they won in Denver was such a character win to me. The game that they won in LA against the Clippers was a complete performance. And it went from, hey, look, the Kings might be in a play-in. The Kings might get into the playoffs. But that group like that group can win a playoff series or two and do some damage in the West. And I don't know that last night totally derails that belief for me, but it also shows you that for whatever reason, they can't consistently produce when certain obstacles are there. And I don't want to lump, again, I'm not trying to lump this game into the others, but what were the reasons why? I think they have shown that they don't play big enough, the Sacramento Kings I'm speaking of, and when other teams are big and play physically, they've had some trouble with that. We've also seen when teams have played small against the Kings, they've had some issues with that, and certainly some teams that have mixed in some zones. So you're trying to find areas, and then we all go to last year's postseason when the Kings lost in 7 to the Warriors, a great series, but what Miami did was to do their best to really limit the impact, or what Golden State did, excuse me, was to limit the impact of Domantas Sabonis. I think Miami had kind of that same approach. Now, Sabonis still ended with a triple-double. It shows you his gifts, but it wasn't, again, the same kind of impactful. I mean, you guys watched the game. You saw the game. You can tell when he's having more of an impact on a game than he was last night. And teams are going to continue to do that. The Kings have to figure out ways through that. And I think there were some elements there of the Kings going to a zone that I haven't really seen them do much, the matchup zone, and maybe it's something they could have tried sooner in the game instead of out of a desperate situation. But these are the kind of things that they're going to see, especially when you get to a playoff series. If the Kings are lucky enough to get into a playoff series, no matter what seed they are, the other team is going to have about a week to prepare, and they're going to know their own knowledge of when they played the Kings. They're going to look at film of the games that other teams had the most success. They're going to look at their personnel and see, okay, how can we attack the Kings? Now, keep in mind, the Kings are going to do the same thing. So it's not like, hey, these are disadvantages Sacramento has. The Kings will try to find their lane to win this potential series that they're in. But these are the things that the coaching staff has to figure out, the players have to figure out. And I thought the Kings did a little bit of lineup matching, or not enough lineup matching early. And then, when you're down 20, you're just trying to scramble to get back ahead. And when you lose, you look back and they go, wow, Monk didn't play in the fourth quarter. Could that have helped? Well, that group brought him to within 2 points. So had they come back and won it, it really wouldn't have mattered. But it makes you question everything. And I know Mike Brown and the coaching staff probably did that last night. I'm sure they're going to do that today in their flight to Denver, think about things that they could have done differently, and same with the players as well. But Miami got it done. Hat tip to them. And unfortunately for the Kings, the Heat end up with a season sweep over Sacramento. Much more on this game coming up. Again, Jason Ross, Christopher Lott here on Sactown Sports. We brought it up in leading off. Want to get into a little bit more of this for a quick segment before we get back into the Kings on the running back class. Why is it so devalued, and what this potential list of running back free agents look like, and how staggering it is, just high-level talent that's out there, and will some of them not find homes? I mean, that's going to be interesting. We'll discuss that next here on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Boost Mobile here with a great deal to keep you connected and help you make the most of your tax refund. When you switch to Boost, you get 4 lines for $100, plus 4 free 5G smartphones, like the Samsung Galaxy A15 or the Moto G Stylus 5G. We're here to bring you the best phones on America's largest 5G networks, so you can get after it. Switching is easy. Just head to your local Boost Mobile store for 4 lines and 4 phones for $100. Visit boostmobile.com for details. New customers only. Requires auto pay and ID verification. Other restrictions apply. See participating dealers for details.
The hit true crime podcast Paper Ghosts is back with a haunting mystery in the shadows of the Ozarks. Season 4 unravels a darkly intriguing cold case from 1989 as a community continues to search for answers about a missing girl, various suspects, and a potential connection to BTK.
It's gone from, okay, we don't think something's quite right, to there's some worry going on now because now we've found some of her clothing.
Listen to Paper Ghosts wherever you get your podcasts.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Sactown Sports.
That accent I threw at you in the break didn't sound like you're a Louisiana lawyer.
It was close.
Do we care to hear from the judge?
I would say it's more of, you were doing more of Yosemite Sam. No, actually, it was like a Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Mixed with Yosemite
As you
Sam.
say it now, I know. What does your lawyer sound like?
Your Honor.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Mine was different.
Am I to believe that this Sacramento Kings fan, this Sacramento Kings team, can only lose when they're missing their own players? I don't know what that meant.
I don't either. I've got some numbers. I know Dave wanted those numbers. I'll have those a little bit later in the show on that very thing. I know Mike Brown was asked that. We've got some audio coming up on that as well. Like, is there a trend? What can you point your finger to? And Mike Brown was pretty quick to say, like, look, Miami was without guys. Is this something that's always happened? He's like, well, we did win last night with Paul George being out and played maybe our best game.
Is it weird? I think I know what you're saying, but I feel like
it's
the
not
Kings.
The same.
I feel like the Kings do better when one player is out, and do terribly when like multiple players are out.
Yeah, it could be. And I'll say this too. Like, again, this isn't even to. This is really more an intention to highlight the Heat than to punish the Kings here or to give them an out. But like for the main core of the game for Miami, when they would have like Kevin Love, Hawkes, Bam, Caleb Martin, and in this case it was DeLon Wright, who's a proven pro, but this was his first game as a Miami Heat and he started. Like, that's an NBA roster. It's not. It's that to me is not playing Portland without like 80 points per game, and then you go, wait, you lost to who? this was, I mean, like Kevin Love's been an all-star, great player. Hawkins is a really good rookie. Bam is an all-star. But I mean, if you're asking me beforehand, would you rather play the Heat with that group or with their group that they normally have with Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler? Some of the other guys that were suspended are less important to the puzzle, but they're still Heat players. Yeah, I'd rather play them the way they were constructed last night. But the Kings did not get their work done early enough. Let Miami not only hang around, let Miami build a large lead, and then Sacramento paid the price. Nearly came back, but ultimately lost. We got more on that coming up in our next segment. Jason Ross, Christopher Lott here on this Tuesday morning. We'll lead you up to 10 o'clock when Styles and Watkins, they'll be in at the end of the show for a little crosstalk and celebrity birthdays. They were at the game last night. Also, we're going to have to check in with, did you hear what Alan Styles' assignment was last night?
Yeah, I heard he was working with the Spanish broadcast.
Yeah, maybe you should have done that.
Why?
Stats?
Yeah.
It would have been fun. Yeah. You're going to give him all the Jaime Jaquez stats you wanted.
Dude, we know Jaquez's points.
Relax. They're like, why is this guy cheering over here? No, Alan was he was very nervous about that. I don't think he had done stats before, which I get. And I'm like, well, the hard part is what I was trying to tell him before the game was, I mean, I've done this a long time and now sit next to G-Man every night. There's a rhythm. I mean, the most important I would say to anybody if they're ever put in a spot to have to do stats or to help complement the broadcast, basically what you're trying to, I mean, honestly, is listen. Is just listen to what is being described. Now, the trick is this was a broadcast in Spanish. And I said, Alan, do you know any Spanish? He goes, I do, some. But I don't even know how much you have to know. Like, it would be better. He's going to hear names. He's watching the game, too. He knows. But I just told him, look, if you see anything that sounds kind of to your point, you're like, hey, the Heat seem to get all those back taps and rebounds. Well, then look at the rebounds. Or if you knew at one point the rebounds were 25-20 Kings and now it's 40-28, well, they've out-rebounded the Kings 20-3 in the last, whatever. And so
it's too much math.
It is too much math, but that's what you got to do. Math is hard. So I'm going to ask him today how do you think, I know he's going to say he did well.
I think he'll be like, it was okay. I got through it, is what I did.
You think I got through it?
Yeah.
I think he's going to say he's a star and he's got a bright future in being a stats man.
Okay.
So we're on kind of a different page there. We'll see ultimately what Alan says when he joins us a little bit later. We are talking about this briefly, again, back to the Kings in just a moment, but something to be watching football-wise here as the draft gets closer, free agency and all that, and the teams remake themselves in the offseason to look for areas of improvement. The running back position. To me, I think the running back position, I've always liked running backs. I think there's a charm to that position. I think they're tough. Usually they're fast, powerful, durable. You hope they're durable. We've seen more and more of that hybrid pass-catching running back that can also run, get goal line touches, really do everything, pick up blitzes. If you can have a running back that does all that, I don't know why you wouldn't want to pay them well, pay them to be a big piece of your future. Well, we're looking at what could be a record-setting off-season of potential running back free agents that are available because their teams are not as interested in renewing deals, and it could flood the market, which is already a market that has shown doesn't want to pay running backs. We've had holdouts before. We've had guys not get signed. Remember last offseason when a guy like Leonard Fournette, who's been good in this league, not the most amazing running back, but was drafted high before, was a franchise guy in Jacksonville, was a Super Bowl winner with Tampa Bay, and then couldn't really get on a roster for several reasons. So I think we might see more of that. Here's your top 10 potential free agent running backs this offseason. Gus Edwards, who was really critical in Baltimore this year as the year went along, especially after J.K. Dobbins got hurt again. I feel for him. He's had multiple knee injuries, had another one, but he's another free agent. These are the top 10 according to CBSSports.com. A.J. Dillon from the Green Bay Packers, the guy with just tree trunks for thighs. He's just a massive running back. Zach Moss in the Indianapolis Colts. He had a really good year this year when he was asked on duty while they were going through some of their signing issues with Taylor there. DeAndre Swift, who found a new home in Philadelphia and ended up putting up his first ever 1,000-yard campaign. You've got Austin Eckler, who had a down year, but has been considered one of the better running backs in the NFL for the last 5 to 6 years. Tony Pollard in Dallas, who went over a combo of 1,300 yards between as a receiver and a runner. Saquon Barkley has been one of the highest drafted running backs in recent years. Still had a good year for a disappointing Giants team. Derrick Henry, he's hit that age. He's 30, but man, he has got some tread left. He is still one of those power runners. He's been an NFL rushing leader multiple times. He has a nose for the end zone, has become a better receiver. And then you got a guy like Josh Jacobs, as the Raiders declined his fifth-year option a couple of years ago. And he is now in that spot where they may talk about not franchise tagging him, but still looking to re-sign him, but other teams are going to be looking at him. So you've got a running back group along with an incoming draft class and other running backs out there that this position continues to be devalued, and this offseason certainly isn't going to help that. So we'll see where that ultimately goes for a team like the 49ers that has a guy like Christian McCaffrey locked up who they signed and traded for. They're in a better spot there, but some of these other teams could find themselves a valuable piece that can make their team a lot better. All right, how do the Kings make themselves better? How do they avoid some of these traps that they've fallen into? When we return, we'll look back at that loss to Miami. We'll hear some of the players and coach reaction to a disappointing night for Sacramento. That when we start the 7 o'clock hour here on Sactown Sports.
Harrison Barnes plays here.
Harrison Barnes drives it, hammers it. The Black Falcon soaring into the night sky on a Monday evening in Northern California.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Tennis event of the year, the Netflix Slam, on March 3rd at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Join 22-time Grand Slam champion and tennis legend Rafael Nadal as he takes on world number 2, Carlos Alcaraz, and witness a tennis showdown like never before. This live Netflix sports event promises unparalleled tennis action, so don't miss the thrill. Mark your calendars for March 3rd, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. It's Game, Set, Match on Netflix.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Hey, Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
He had the ball. Hawkins on the right wing in three-point range against Sabonis. Now he digs toward the baseline, retreats with the dribble, under and up, and he scores two more. This kid plays like a 7-year veteran in this league. Jaime Hawkins from UCLA with 25 points.
For some reason, a decent amount of Miami Heat fans in the building last night. Those were there. You noticed it. Much like I said with Dave yesterday, I said, when the Kings won in LA against the Clippers, and it was really cool to hear the Light the Beam chants, and it was as loud as we've ever heard. There was one point in the game, and Chris, you were there. I mean, again, I'm at headsets on, I'm listening to G-Man, and you get kind of lost in the game, and I'm thinking, I don't know what time in the game it was, but I'm like, why are they saying Light the Beam? And it wasn't like at the end. It was maybe in the second or third quarter. And then I took, the one ear off. I go, oh my gosh, they're saying, let's go Heat. How many people are here for Miami?
You could hear them very early on.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. It was noticeable. I mean, it definitely was noticeable. And usually there's pockets of fans from the other team. But this was, I don't remember that. I think this reminds me a little bit of, I want to say it was a year or two ago, Chris, where the Kings hosted the Bulls. And the Bulls they were, a marginal team. And there was just a ton of Bulls fans in the building. Like, there's always front runner teams or teams that make sense right now. Like the Lakers or Warriors always have a lot of fans at the game. You might have fans of the champs in the building, maybe. Denver doesn't seem to have that same kind of, but Boston brings some fans. The Knicks will have some fans.
It's only the East Coast. I think it's just because it's the one game.
I guess, but Orlando comes in to again, you'll see 30, 50, but last night there were hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they were loud. I mean, they were really noticeable.
Dwayne Wade jerseys.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a funny Miami team. I mean, again, I'm not to slight Miami, but this isn't the Heatles that had LeBron and the championship team, but they were in the finals last year. So they had every chance to win the title. And Miami comes in and surprises the Kings, I say. Maybe surprise a lot of fans going to the game thinking this would be an easier night. But Jaime Hawkins, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo, Caleb Martin, really that group got it done. I thought they were coached beautifully last night as well. Let's get some reaction from the Kings on that. We played that Jaime Hawkins highlight. What did Keegan Murray think of the way the rookie played?
I remember playing him in Summer League, and I feel like he's added a lot to his game since then. So whatever they're doing down there in Miami's helped him a lot, and you can tell. So he's at a post-up game. He's gotten more physical, been able to score on all three levels. So I feel like he's going to be a really good player.
Yeah. And again, he's in the right spot. A lot of people love that. I remember when the mock drafts were coming out, and a lot of people had him going there. I thought, ooh, that would be a good fit for him. Didn't know if he would last that long. He did. Again, long careers left for a lot of these teams. But I have found over the years when you have we're back to this culture word, and the Kings are trying to build it, and they're starting to, and they have been the last couple of years here. But when you've got a system, an identifiable style, consistency with your coach, and you kind of lock in on that, that's how, when you were the San Antonio Spurs in their prime time, when you go, man, where do they find these players? The Miami Heat, that has that many players on their roster that have been undrafted, but they've made successful. They can spot them, identify them, and I really think they wring everything out of the rag as possible on their players. Like, they get everything. They're pretty legendary for their work ethic. They literally have to weigh themselves. Like, they're constantly in conditioning, working hard. There's the Heat way, and you're not going to outwork them. You might beat them. People do. Kings could have last night, but just in general, their preparation, their work ethic, that's what they're about. And Jaquez, I think, is a good fit for them. De'Aaron Fox also noticed the play of Jaime Jaquez.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a matchup problem for a lot of people. Obviously, being a guy that stayed in college for some years, people aren't expecting him to do this or do that, but he just has game that works anywhere he goes and plays, regardless of what team he plays for. He knows how to use his body. He gets you going one way, spin move. If you're not 6'8", like, you're probably not blocking his shot. So he's not super shifty, but he just understands how to play. He understands how to use his body, and he made big shots. He made some tough shots for him. And I mean, his one-on-one game, I think, is a lot better than I feel like people give him credit for. And that was a big part of what happened today. Him and Bam, what they did one-on-one really hurt us.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, we're in such a time of the current makeup of the NBA where if you watch games on a night-to-night basis, you either have teams that really feature ISO ball, like I think the Mavericks are very good at that. When you've got two great individual one-on-one players with Luka and Kyrie, why not do that? But you've got other teams like the Kings that spread the floor, work on spacing, and then kind of create those things to get those one-on-one matchups, where Miami does more of that too, but their safety net is they can get into post-up situations, and their one-on-one might not be the typical, hey, I'm going to drive by you and kind of square you up. It's, I'm going to back you down, turn, the post moves, the physical nature that they played with. I don't want to say, Chris, it's old school, but the fact that they had, I would say, consistently in the game between Jaquez, Love, and Bam Adebayo, 3 post-up guys, and Jimmy Butler can too. He wasn't even playing. You don't see a lot of teams do that anymore.
No. And like, thinking about Jaime Jaquez, I think right when he got drafted, you and me both are like, oh, that might be the perfect spot for him.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it really is. And that's the other part about the way the league works. Let's say he did go higher and he's on Detroit, Charlotte, Portland. I mean, teams that are struggling this year that maybe would ask him to, like, hey, you're starting day one, go get the 28 points you got last night, but like, expect it. He's in a system, he's in a flow. He's been starting, he's been really good, but he might get 14 and have the same kind of impact. Last night, he was asked to get more numbers than they needed him, and he was able to do it. It's such a different spot for him to be in Miami than it would be on these other, like, lottery type teams.
Yeah, too bad for the Kings.
I know. Kings didn't have an opportunity to get him. And others, the way Miami Heat approached, I guess the Kings could have got that they had before, DeLon Wright. I mean, you look at, they added him on the after he was waived, and he started last night. But that's an experienced veteran point guard. And Miami, after the Kings faced him the first time about a month ago, Miami had lost 7 in a row going into that game, and they beat the Kings. Now they were playing well going into this game, but they were down some players. They won again. I don't know how far they'll go in the East. I still feel like there are better teams than them, but they are clearly one of those teams that you just go, I don't want to bet against them.
They're almost like the Michigan State of the NBA.
Yeah.
Of like, sure, you can bet against them, but you're going to look stupid when they prove you wrong again.
Yeah. You're like, I had them out in the second round. Why are they in the Final Four again? I knew they would get there. Well, did you? Then why didn't you bet on them? Pick them in the brackets. So you said when the Kings were coming back that you saw that Spoelstra was really hot. Like, what did you see there? What was going on?
Oh, man. He was just like...
At players, at the refs, or what?
At the players. I was just like... I don't know what he was saying, but just because I was pretty far away. But it's like one of those things of... I told you this in the last timeout. What are you doing? Like type of thing.
So very noticeable. Though.
Yes.
Yeah. But he, I mean, again, got his guys to respond. And, as far as Mike Brown, what were his thoughts on the way his squad just couldn't get it done in the game last night?
They've won 7 of 9. They went into Milwaukee without basically the same guys and beat Milwaukee by 20. So for us, I just didn't think defensively until the last quarter, we didn't get it done. One of the things that I probably could have done to help them more was probably go to zone. We played zone in the fourth quarter. And our guys were aggressive in the zone. They did a good job talking, and then they went to man at the right time. So maybe I could have helped them more by doing that. But I just thought that they outworked us throughout most of the game, and ended up getting a win.
Some comments there from Mike Brown. Yeah, the outworked parts. I mean, again, you could see when the Kings ramped it up to the sense of urgency level. Like when they were down 20, it was either going to be one of those laughable blowout home losses, or they were going to dig down and give their best fight. They did that. I liked that. I liked that was in them. But it's the wrong team to be down with, a seasoned, well-coached team. Now, look, they almost did it. But Miami, back to some of the stuff I said they could go to and they counted on and they got results from, their post-ups, their mismatches, their execution. They got enough of what they wanted. The Kings early on turned the ball over too much. I still think the Kings had winning numbers offensively. Their point total was lower than normal, but they shot effectively. I think they got to their 30 assists. We saw enough guys in double figures. By the end, they started hitting threes. Their free throws weren't awful, wasn't great either. There was a couple sequences when you felt like, okay, good, they're going to the line, they can really help here, and they missed 2, I remember, in one sequence. So they didn't get to the line either as much as Miami. That was maybe the other divider in the game. I think the Heat got there more than twice to the Kings. But I think that goes to how physically they played, how hard they played. And, sometimes you put more pressure on the officials when you really play that aggressively. I didn't think the Kings were that timid. It's just maybe Miami, they were more aggressive. That's really more in their makeup and their DNA, and they played to that. So Miami ends up with the season sweep of the Kings. We've got some more numbers and more reaction from Keegan, from De'Aaron Fox, from Mike Brown. That's all coming up. But when we come back, it's Fire Wings time. It's 3 for Madness time. 3 questions, 3 answers, including what the heck is with this team? That's a question we've got. That and more straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, 3 for Madness time. 3 questions, 3 answers. You can weigh in if you'd like as well on our text line or our YouTube chat from our chat mob out there. We appreciate all of you checking in. If you're on the YouTube today, by the way, hit that thumbs up button. Makes everybody feel good, helps us with the algorithms, and we appreciate it. You're there. It just takes one little click. It's that bottom thumbs up. Let's get that number elevated. We're low today. We got a lot of people watching. We appreciate that. You're up early. You're participating. Just hit that thumbs up button. Do us a favor, if you would. But it's time for 3 for Madness, 3 questions, 3 answers, brought to you by our friends at Fire Wings. And like I said, you guys can participate as well on how you feel about these questions. So, Chris, what do we got here on our 3 for Madness, brought to you by Fire Wings?
What the heck is it with this team? I apologize for the language.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, pardon my French. I don't know. How about that for an answer? Question 2. No. I'll ask you, Chris. You've seen the majority of the games. What do you think?
Man, I think there is a percentage of bad luck of something like you play it perfectly and things don't go your way. And it happens a couple of times and it's just like, ugh, this is over. This is done. What are we doing? And it feels like just a little bit of that. I'm trying to think of the word I'd like to use. Just adversity just like sticks with this team and then they can't get themselves out of it.
Yeah. So let me,
there's only been I could think of 1 or 2 games where it's just like, oh, they weren't good, but they clawed their way out of it and they took a win.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of, so in their neighborhood. So here's the teams in the East and the West. I'm gonna say within 1 win and 1 loss of the Kings. Phoenix, New Orleans, Dallas, Philadelphia, and maybe we could put and Miami. And maybe even the Pacers. So if I give you that group, what do you think of those teams?
I think that they're pretty matched up well with the Kings. What's weird is,
so why are we thinking differently about the Kings?
I mean, we see every game.
That's it.
We're not seeing those games that those other teams throw away.
Yeah, until yesterday. So I do the prep for, I'm thinking about this game. Okay, let me dive in a little bit on the Heat, and I know G-Man and even Mike Brown mentioned it. So during the broadcast, you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize Miami played Milwaukee here recently, and almost the same situation. They had 3 guys out, and they beat the Bucks by 25. It kind of went, oh, well, all right. Kings better be ready tonight. And that's it.
I don't think that they played poorly.
The Kings? Yeah. I'm with
they
you.
weren't playing their best.
No. And that's what I said. If the Kings are going to lose games going out, they need to be defeated. I think they were defeated, but I think they gave them some of it too. They gave them some of that juice where a little bit better for the third quarter was awful. If the Kings had a better third, maybe they win. But
if they were only beaten by 10 in that third quarter.
Yeah. And it's just, that's the thing. They let go of the rope to get it up to 20. And it felt like, okay, the Heat are outplaying you, but can you be down 9 going into the fourth, not 18 and then ultimately get to 20? But I guess that's my question. I think that's the way to think about this team. We're too close, and we look at every game, and we could say, and we need to. I mean, this is what we do. This is the team we follow. But are the Kings any different? If you right now would say Philly, Miami, Indiana, Sacramento, Phoenix, New Orleans, Dallas, if you think none of those teams can win the championship, then you don't think the Kings can. And I don't know that I think the Kings can win the championship. And I don't even know if that's our conversation, but that's kind of who they are. They're in that group of teams where some nights you're like, yeah, Phoenix, I don't know. They're a problem. I wouldn't want to play them. I bet some teams look at Sacramento and go, you know what? They would be really tough in a playoff series. Other teams yeah, give me the Kings. I think we can beat them.
We watch we'll see a game like the Clippers. Man, if they play like that, they could win every single game.
Absolutely.
And then you see last night. I think too is Miami shorthanded isn't the Blazers shorthanded.
Agreed.
Or Charlotte shorthanded.
Yeah, or even a lesser team. And again, I want to point out, when they were really in crunch time or in meaningful minutes, you're I'm looking out there going, Jimmy Butler would have been out there likely, but maybe Rozier's on the bench. Maybe if Hero's not hot, maybe he's not. The guys they had at the end when it really mattered are guys that can play. It wasn't, man, they got beat by 3 kind of NBA guys and 2 G Leaguers. No, they got beat by that guys could play. But why? That's the thing. And it's I don't think the Kings have the answer. I think there were more elements of where you go, okay, that the Kings weren't awful. They have some things that could beat some teams. They couldn't beat Miami last night, and they're kind of in that other group of teams that are good.
Also, it feels
Not
like
great.
there hasn't been that run of just like, oh man, the Kings are like, it felt like if they would have done that last night, it's
It
like,
felt like they
okay.
were on it. I
Yeah.
agree. I felt like last night was like a 3-game win streak's nice. If you make it 4 and the teams they would have defeated in there, like you got through San Antonio, but the road win at Denver, the road win in LA, and to back it up with a win against Miami, it's like, all right, here's 4 in a row. I almost felt like now that this rest of this week, like they didn't have to win because those are tough matchups. But now you've kind of changed the numbers here, and they're going to need to get a win on one of these two. All right, let's get to question 2.
Question 2.
Is this the most frustrating Kings team in Sacramento history? If no, name one more frustrating.
I think, and I've said this before, we can never, ever, ever put ourselves emotionally into the same way we feel about the current team. You just can't. So let's just, for example, if I gave you a year, Chris, without any context, and if I came up right now and said, oh no, it was the 2011-2012, and I remember how frustrating that year was. I can't place myself into a February 27th game when they lost to Miami when they were undermanned and go, I was so mad after that night. Like, you can't do it the same way. So this year, though, it has been frustrating. I think paired with expectations, paired with what we saw last year. I think also last year, again, was the first time everything was kind of enjoyable. And when you had a night like this, it's like, that stinks, but this year's been fun. Now it's one, their record is basically the same as a year ago. The rest of the West is better. They are in jeopardy of maybe
They're healthy.
A play-in game. We know it's at risk. But to me, where I argue on the expectations part, Chris, is, to me, I'm really less concerned with the regular season numbers. The expectation for me now is if they get to the postseason, trying to get further. So they could be the 2 seed. They could be a play-in team. If they got farther, they passed expectations to me. I don't think it matters if they win. Or conversely, let's say they get hot and finish this year and win 53 games. So that's a 5-game improvement. That's awesome. I don't know what seed they would be, and they lost in the first round. I'd be like,
or let's say they're a 7 seed, they get the play-in, they played the Nuggets, and it's like one of those things that's just like, oh, they matched up with them well, let's see in the playoffs, and then they beat them. That would be a huge success.
That's progress. So I don't think we're there yet to the expectation part for me. Now, for you guys out there, it may be different. So like that's why when people go, well, expectations are raised, I don't know that we ever really heard any. Like when my pushback would be, what are your regular season expectations for the team? Like, is that a number? Like, was that 55 wins? Technically, they can still get there. I don't think they will. But the West has been better. They've navigated that okay. To me, they've got to be as polished as possible come playoff time. I think they're getting closer to all of that, but it's not there. And I think it honestly will ultimately come up to who they have to play. I think if they get the right matchup, I think they can get out of the first round. If they don't, I think they won't. And I think it's that simple. They just got to get themselves there, likely put themselves in the best position. We'll talk a little bit later about the impact of the loss. But I can't name another team. I mean, if you're thinking frustrating, when you get to the conference finals and don't win, I mean, that was a great year and enjoyable. But that's maybe the lowest point in Sacramento Kings history, was losing Game 7 on your home floor of the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, I was going to say which time.
Yeah. Last year was painful, like that end result. But then I think we're all in that spot. Well, it's okay. It's a fun year. This is just the start. So I don't know if logically people said, well, they were the 3 seed. They're going to be the 2 or the 1 and, probably win 55 to 60 games. Well, they're not going to do that. But again, if I could tell you today that they get to the second round, that would be improvement. We don't know if that's going to happen yet or not. All right, let's get to third and final question.
Question 3.
Honestly, no lying.
No lying.
Would it surprise you if the Kings won the next 2?
No, and I think what we all are guilty of, myself included, is I think we try to predetermine their record too much. Look, we ask for predictions on the show. We kind of do it anyway, like, hey, this upcoming 4-game road trip, if they could go 3-1, And then if they do, we're happy. If they don't,
never count the money on the table.
Yeah. I mean, so most people, before the game yesterday kind of assumed that the Kings would beat Miami because they heard, wow, they know they didn't have Jimmy Butler, Jovic, and Bryant before the day. Then when it became official that Rozier and Hero were out, it's like the Kings should win today. That's where you already frame it. So should. And then once they don't, you're automatically disappointed. Now, for whatever reason, you're looking at Denver and Minnesota. They have better records than the Kings. You're thinking, well, I don't know. They'll probably lose these two games. Games haven't even been played. You have beaten them both in their building. You've beaten Denver 3 times. Granted, you haven't played them with their full personnel. You obviously have played them well. But I think we're all too guilty of predetermining the outcome before the games are even played. And then it automatically leads you to a spot of either surprise or disappointment. So if you go, yeah, they're going to lose the next 2 when they win one, hey, that was a pleasant surprise. I'm going to try to not jump ahead, but that's what we do. I mean, I don't know how we avoid it. We talk about these games. We try to make our predictions. We try to read based on what we've seen and our knowledge that we've had. I mean, Denver is the defending champs. They've got the front runner for the MVP. They are one of the toughest teams to beat at home. We said it earlier. One of the most surprising wins to me of the year was probably because of the scenario I just created. The Kings were going into Denver. Traditionally, at the All-Star break on getaway day, most teams don't do well on the road. They're thinking about other things. The Kings were playing the second night of a back-to-back. I went into that game framing it like I don't think they're going to beat Denver. I'm going to be honest. And then they won, and it was a pleasant surprise. I don't know what's going to happen with this team. I don't even know that it's frustrating because I think right now what we're seeing, what I'll say is of what I like of what I've seen, I think we've seen a better version of De'Aaron Fox now for about 4 to 5 games. Sabonis is on a complete heater with triple doubles. And really, if you look at it, I mean, I think we're Keegan Murray, Barnes, and Herter. The starting 5 has been in their best stretch as I can remember for a while for this team. So that to me is an area of encouragement. It's not the full resolution of where they want to get to, but the more that happens, the more they consistently play like they have been playing, I think the results will be okay. So no, I would not be shocked at all. Honestly, I wouldn't, because the Kings are good. They're not great. They're good. And good teams can go to Denver and win. And good teams can go into Minnesota and win. They can. They really can. We'll just have to wait and see. But we'll make our predictions, I promise, before the games even happen. All right, when we come back, what did the loss do to the Kings? There wasn't a lot of activity in the NBA standings. We'll check in there and what to look ahead to as we do a little standings update. That when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
Has Monty put together a roster that can help make a deep playoff run this season?
Just trying to give coach options, give him guys that can help us win in a variety of areas. Obviously, our top guys are going to play every game, but there's going to be other times, whether it's injuries, matchups, we've got to have some variety on the bench for coach to point to and say, go in there and help us win.
Tune into every Kings game this season
on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
I haven't been this excited about a deal in a long time. Right now, you can save $18,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Jeep Gladiator Eco Diesels. This thing can get up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and it's the perfect combination of off-road fun and work truck. Plus, it's the #1 new quality vehicle among midsize trucks, according to J.D. Power.
And you're selling them with an $18,000 discount? That seems a little crazy.
Well, we do things a little different here at Hoblet. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or fees. At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
There's no better time to take advantage of this savings at Hoblet. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings, selection, and no surprise hidden fees.
$18,000 net savings after $11,096 factory rebates and $6,904 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. Qualify 5 with this net savings. Sample VIN 553-385. See dealer for details.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The games come at you fast. Life comes at you fast. Sports and things change quickly. Ask for some help on the text line, 916-339-1140. Thoughts on the game, thoughts on some of our questions from Three for Madness. Some of you as well in our YouTube chat. Kind of the common one we got a lot here on the text line. Let me go over a couple of these. Kings are winning in spite of Mike Brown's mediocre coaching. Wow, the reigning coach of the year taking some shots. Last night's biggest difference, they got out-coached. There's another one on the coaching part. I will say this. I think Eric Spoelstra is a terrific coach. I think Mike Brown's a terrific coach. Look, we're critical of the players. We can be critical of the coaches too. When you lose, you pick apart everything. To me, I think the Kings, Mike Brown identified it. He said it maybe could have gone to the zone quicker. I also think the Kings did not recognize quick enough what Miami was hunting out. And to me, in that third quarter, when the Kings got completely blitzed, Miami had several post-up guys, and they were seeking out Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, or De'Aaron Fox on really Kevin Love or Jaime Jaquez. And every once in a while, Bam, there was a switch where Bam kind of got in those post-ups. And they got physical with those guys. And it was either a size problem or just a physical problem where they just, in footwork and just went around guys. And so that's a credit to Miami and their coaching. I think the Kings were a little bit late on that and a little bit late on getting to the zone and a little bit late on playing bigger. I thought they didn't get Lyles in enough. Sabonis, when he got in foul trouble early, I thought it impacted the way he defended. I thought Keegan was in foul trouble, and the coach left him out there. I thought Keegan was tremendous. And to me, look, Fox and Sabonis are going to be there. Those guys are just too good. They put up numbers even on games where you're like, man, De'Aaron wasn't as good or Sabonis wasn't as good. By the end, their numbers are good. But I thought those guys were fine last night. Keegan was terrific. And the more they could get like kind of that two-way version of Keegan, you can see where this team can get to. Because Keegan can become pretty lethal. He's an efficient scorer. He's such a low maintenance player as far as like, I think there's an effort and a focus and a desire to be great, which, look, all these guys are world class, are the best of the best. And sometimes the separation is the smallest of things in games, in little details. And if that's sometimes, look, it's like you try to find what that little nuance is. And sometimes to me, I get the way the Kings look to me is this. And I hope I'm explaining this the right way. And whether you guys agree or not, I'd love to get the feedback on it. I know they want to win. I know it. At times, there's a look that, at times, like, does it hurt them enough when they lose? And I don't know if I'm explaining this the right way. And maybe a loss in Miami doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But Chris, there's certain people that are cut in that way that, like, a loss to Miami on a Monday in February does do damage to them. And maybe that's not healthy, but when you've got 82, you kind of want to be even. But, like, I don't know if I'm explaining this the right way, but I feel like that desire to just never any desire to be the greatest team they possibly can. Again, I think they want to be good. I think they love each other. I think they're playing for all the right reasons. It's a small fraction, I feel like, is maybe the thing that's missing from them.
No, you're right, because Doug used to say all the time, I like winning. I hate losing.
Yeah.
And that's where you don't feel like that with the Kings right now.
Yeah.
They want to win, but it doesn't seem like they hate losing.
And you were here the day that, and again, now this may be revisionist history and there was time and the wound is never fully healed. But one of the most powerful things I feel like I've ever been a part of on radio was when we had C-Web on when he was going on to the Hall of Fame. And I was here. I was part of the interview, but it really was Doug and Chris talking. You could tell they both still hurt to the core that they couldn't win a championship. Not really for Chris, not for Doug, not for for Sacramento. And, like, they were almost getting to tears about how much 20 years later, how much it rips them apart.
You can tell that they think about it every day.
They do. And so part of why, working here with Doug was so much fun too. He was like, yeah, I want to coach. I knew he did, but he's like, I've got unfinished. But he wants to win for that team and for that 20 years ago, as much as it would be for everybody now. And for maybe some people that are not still with us or who are not Kings fans as much, or who've been on the ride the whole time. Like, I don't know. It's so small. And I'm not saying that it's completely absent from this group, but and I don't think everybody in the NBA has this too. I'm not saying like, hey, that's why Minnesota's in first. That's not it. It's and maybe it can show up later in the playoffs. But there's something to that where sometimes they let things get out of hand, like last night, before that's like, all right, now let's go. Now we're desperate, because that part shows, and it's so finite. I don't even know if I'm explaining it properly.
It feels like they don't have a plan B. Like, if this isn't, like, if their shooting's off, then they're off.
Yeah.
And hopefully the other team doesn't take advantage.
Right. And that's a little bit of a similarity, I feel like, what I would say with like the 49ers. Like, when it's in the 49ers way, good luck beating them. Like, if they're running and they get ahead, they don't turn the ball, you're not going to beat them.
But if you disrupt them,
they get behind, they've had trouble. Now, where they showed some differences, it was in the postseason, like that comeback against Green Bay, that comeback against Detroit. Okay, now they've checked a different box here. And yeah, we know what ultimately happened in the Super Bowl. They had every chance to win that game, and that game's going to gut them and live with them forever. And I'm not saying this Miami loss has to live with them, but you just hope that some of these other losses earlier this year were those experiences that they went through, whether they needed to or not. You kind of get what you need. That's another phrase that Doug would say. So what did you need out of that Charlotte loss and those Portland losses? Are opportunities now the next time you play lesser teams, you don't want to drop those games. And so they got to still keep grinding, keep going. This final chapter of this team certainly isn't written and wasn't written last night, but it was another one of those games that you felt like going in the Kings could win, and at the end they did not. All right, let's get a little more reaction from some of those involved. Well, actually, before we do that, we were talking about how we were going to look at the impact on the standings of this. So last night, and we'll probably reference this. We'll do this a little bit later too on what to watch. To me, I'm going to be looking at the 10 in the West. And I think we've said this for a while. I think the 10 in the West that are there now are going to be the 10 in the West that are going to be there at the end. So apologies to Houston and to Utah. In Memphis and Portland and San Antonio, you guys just aren't going to make it. But I think this is the 10. The shuffling around will continue to happen. So of the 10 teams in the West last night, the only team that played was the Sacramento Kings. So those are the kind of nights where you have every opportunity to gain a half game on everybody. Instead, by losing, they dropped the half game. And so the casualty of that for the Kings, they were in 5th starting the night by percentage points. They dropped to a tie for 7th with Dallas. Technically, the Kings would have the 7 seed because Dallas, they have the tiebreaker of Dallas, but that's how quickly it can change. You look at the loss column. Phoenix, 24 losses. The Pelicans, 24 losses. The Kings, 24 losses. And Dallas, 24. The reason the Kings and Dallas are at 7 and 8 is because they have one less win than Phoenix. So they could have crept a little bit closer to the Clippers, Nuggets, Thunder, and Timberwolves, that top 4 tier. Instead, they dropped back into that tier that they're on. They kind of left the door open again for teams like the Lakers and the Warriors behind them. So this constant shuffling is going to happen here all the way down to the finish. And with 25 games to go, I'm telling you, this is going to fly by. By the end of what? By the end of next week, yeah, we'll be under 20 games. So it's here. The sprint to the finish. You want to be as tight and finely tuned as possible. And last night was not the case, right? And so when you look back on a season where you're in this standings race, I know we can all list probably at minimum 5 games you feel like, oh, woulda, shoulda, coulda, at minimum for the Kings. Now, probably every team can do that if we went down the roster of games, but we are worried about the Kings. And last night kind of goes in that group. I don't think it's the same as the others, but you felt like with some of the advantages you had, you could have taken care of business. The one disadvantage they had is they were playing the second night of a back-to-back. But Miami capitalized. Miami deserved the win, and Miami got it done with a strong finish, 121-110. Still to come, we, of course, will have celebrity birthdays at the end of the show. A lot more to get to on this game, including, when we come back, kind of that discussion point we were talking about. This team, the frustration, why we get so frustrated with him. We'll try to pin that down. We'll do that more when we return here on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
The paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Carmichael Dave. He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sactown Sports.
All right, back here on Sactown Sports. Talked a lot about this Kings and Miami Heat game. We want to continue to do that with you. 916-339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Those of you on our YouTube chat, we thank you for being there this morning. We gave out that number because we need to give something away. And what we're going to do is, it's the Jiffy Lube drive of the game time. Did you listen to the game last night? Did you listen to the great G-Man, Gary Gerald? And also the pre-half and post host. If you listen to that guy. But the
Post game guy was kind of sad last night.
He was just down. Stauber was down. But dialed right now, 1-800-920-1140. 1-800-920-1140. If you know what the Jiffy Lube drive of the game was, if you do, and you're the first one to identify it correctly, you will win a $100 gift card from our friends from Jiffy Lube. You can use that in any which way you'd want. So it's that simple. You had to listen. It pays to listen and win. So thank you to Jiffy Lube for setting up this contest all year long, and now they're trying to pay you back just by listening to Kings basketball, something you hopefully are doing already. Yes, there's been frustration. Last night would be a frustrating night, but they've got a pretty good season going, and a season that still has hopefully the best yet to come, as we'll see where they go from after that loss last night to the Miami Heat. So again, if you know what the Jiffy Lube drive of the game is, dial up right now, 1-800-920-1140, and identify that. You will be our winner. So we are giving that away right now, and there were plenty of highlights in the game last night. That comeback was fun. I mean, the energy was palpable in the arena. Listen to just some of the volume of noise here, part of this comeback. You'll hear it in the G-Man's voice and just how it sounded in the arena.
Here's Fox in the paint. Pull up 13-footer. Add 2 to his tally. Make this a 2-possession game. It's a 17-3 run by Sacramento. We're just past the midpoint of this quarter. 106-100 is the score.
So look, they cut it down to 2 possessions just past the midway point. More energy from the crowd.
The defense has gotten the Kings back in it. Here's a poke away by Fox. It's grabbed by Trey Lyles. He gives it up to De'Aaron. Throws it ahead. Herter underneath the basket. Pivots. Reverses. Scores. Kevin Herter makes it a 4-point game on the feed from Fox. 5 minutes, 1 second to go. It's 108-104. Timeout. Eric Spoelstra and Miami. Here's Fox with a 13-footer off the dribble. Add 2 more to his tally. Fourth quarter, Fox is at work. He's got 25 points. He also has 8 rebounds and 6 assists. 9 of his 25 have come in the fourth quarter. Back to a 4-point game, and now inside 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, all those exciting plays. Big comeback for the Kings, but it wasn't enough. Miami executed late to get the win and defeat Sacramento and send those in the building home unhappy without a beam to guide them home. All right, so those were all great plays. None of those, though, were a Jiffy Lube drive of the game. Let's see who's first up. Kevin, you have every opportunity because you were first to call in to win our Jiffy Lube $100 gift card if you can identify the Jiffy Lube drive of the game. Do you know what it was?
I do. It was Fox to Malik Monk for a crazy dunk.
Fox to Malik Monk for a crazy dunk. There's a nice rhyme to that. Let's see, Kevin, if you are right.
Rebound poked loose. Fox has it. He's running into the front court, looks inside. Malik Monk on the catch from Fox. He had his body contorted, and I didn't know if he was going to be able to complete it, but the Kings have their biggest lead on top, 39-34. Wow, what a spectacular lead pass that was in a full-blown transition, and what a finish by Malik Monk.
There you go, Kevin. You did get it right. Congratulations. We appreciate you listening. So, Kevin, we're going to get you to hang on here. We'll get all your information. What is your thought? Why has this season been so up and down for the Kings?
Just like everyone's saying, they keep losing to teams that they should beat, and that's about the only thing I find wrong with the season so far.
All right, so what does that make you think going forward? Do you think this team can be a playoff team, a play-in team, advance out of round one? What is your outlook at the rest of the way?
I think that they're going to be a playoff team and avoid the play-in, and I definitely think that they're going to make the playoffs one way or the other and not just be out.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Kevin, thank you for listening. Congratulations. Hang on. We will get your information as you are a winner here of our Jiffy Lube drive of the game. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we're going to have some of these numbers coming up on some of the stuff we've been talking about on kind of indicators on when it goes better for the Kings, when it doesn't. Last night does get lumped in to that all too familiar kind of narrative that's gone on for the Sacramento Kings. I don't know if it's as foolproof as everybody says, but it has happened. I mean, you can't ignore it. Sacramento has played games against teams that have not had their full complements of players, whether it's one or multiples. And last night, Miami was missing multiple people. And you would hope that Sacramento would recognize that. Now, I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys are out there and you feel differently, I mean, I'm not saying I'm right on this, but I'd love your perspective on it. Did you get any feeling, and you could just weigh in on the text line if you'd like, or on our YouTube, did you guys, as those, if you went to the game, listened to the game, or watched the game, feel like it was anything as the Kings taking Miami lightly? I didn't feel that way last night. I think I've seen that, though. I think the Kings have been guilty of that, though, this year against some of these teams that maybe were lesser of a record than Miami and had less people available, and just maybe the Kings kind of went through the motions and then by the end got burned. I know that was the fact. I mean, I think it was so you could just feel it in the building. Which game was that earlier this year? Charlotte. Charlotte was down a few people. They weren't playing very well. And I just felt like the Kings played with the mentality like, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're still losing. We're going to win. We're going to win. Uh-oh, we're in trouble. Oh, no, we just lost. I didn't feel that last night, but maybe you guys did. I'd be curious if you did at all. I didn't sense that feeling. I felt like it was the Kings played well, not great. Miami was in an all-out, just full force effort and attempt and intensity from the get-go, which is how they play. They just play so hard. And the Kings kind of matched that late when they got in the sense of desperation. And that is also kind of going back to where I'm trying to find the quantifiable thing that I'm searching for here is to me, where the Kings are unfortunately at their best is kind of when they're desperate. I don't like that, but I like that trait that they had the ability to fight back. There was fight in the team, but I don't feel like this team has ever realized that what you try to do in those types of games is put even the Miami Heat. I mean, this is a good team. The coach won't give up the rope. He'll keep coaching. Spoelstra will until he can get whatever he can out of his team. But that's the kind of team you try to establish a lead and build a lead and try to bury them. Easier said than done. I'm not trying to take that as like, oh, the Kings just missed out on opportunity. But when the Kings had that run at the end of the first quarter and early second and built a 10-point lead, that's when the Kings needed to be the ones that got up 20. What would Miami have looked like then? But by the end of the half, the Kings were down 2 or 3. So it was a game. You already knew at halftime, all right, this is going to be a battle. You could just tell all the way through. And then I actually thought it might not be because Miami put up a 20-point lead. And it's like, wow, this is going to be a game where they're going to get run out of the gym. They didn't because they came back. But at the end, lost by 11. Some of you are saying it was a lack of leadership for the Kings. Kings were out-hustled and out-coached. It's almost like teams missing their starters come out and play harder, and then the Kings are lazy. Okay. If they pushed a team like Denver to 7 games or something and came up short, I could be talked into they are right there. Yeah, I mean, again, I say this. I think the gap between the top teams, between a lot of the teams, to be honest, in the NBA isn't large, but it's enough to show you a difference. I mean, we're not talking about the teams like Charlotte on down in the East and maybe Memphis down in the West. Besides the easy saying like anybody can beat anybody, that's 100% true. But if the Kings played or any team played a playoff series against some of those bottom teams in a series, the better teams are going to win that, right? I mean, barring any kind of injury. When you're talking about the playoff teams, the teams that have talent, that are going to coach and have you scouted for that 7-game series, I mean, the margin of difference, I'll go back to last year. You guys all saw it. I mean, the Warriors won 4-3. When you watched and ended that series, could you convince me or convince yourself that the Warriors were clearly the better team? Not to me. And vice versa. Had the Kings won Game 7 on their home floor and won 4-3, I would have been like, oh, the Kings were just the better team all series. They won 4-3, and there were some great games, close battles. The Warriors in the last and deciding game had the best player on the floor, and he went for 50. He had a special game. He's capable. He's shown he can do it, and Curry was amazing. There isn't a large margin of difference between these teams. So can the Kings fill in some of these areas that have shown to be weaknesses? We're going to discuss more of what those are when we return. Also, more reaction from Mike Brown, from Keegan Murray, from De'Aaron Fox, those talking about the game and the loss. We'll do that when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. LaPorte is over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories. Like,
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text JUDGE to 42424
store right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 42424. That's JUDGE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations used leather for water skins, armor, and sandals. Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Naturewood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Naturewood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Naturewood's selection. During Naturewood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit, enjoy the comfort of leather at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
Pointy sounds, and this one is over. So the Miami Heat have won for the 8th time in the last 10 games. They do it in convincing fashion. Sacramento had a 55-45 lead in the first half, but that 10-point advantage was pared down to a 3-point deficit at halftime as Miami finished the second quarter on a 20-7 run. Then they finished the third quarter on a 10-0 run. They led by 20, as we mentioned, with 10 minutes to go, and the Kings got it down to 2 points at 110-108, but they couldn't get to the top of the mountain.
Not quite. Last night, welcome back in. Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Carmichael Dave not in today. Jason Ross, Chris Verlaud, and a frustrating night for your Sacramento Kings. Yesterday on the show when Dave was here, we talked about, he said, man, I wish we could have some numbers. He goes, what did he say? Some nerd out there will look up these numbers. I go, well, I'm your nerd. Nerds. I looked up some of the numbers that Dave was looking for.
Dork.
And I'll have those later this hour. Also in this hour, who's hot, who's not, we'll recap our 3 in the key for our predictions for the Kings and the Heat. And also kind of what What is the common thread? What are the things that are constantly hurting the Sacramento Kings? One of those, I've seen a lot of you label it, and I've seen it and heard it. Hey, the Kings always lose to teams when they're undermanned and down some personnel. They have. Again, it happened again last night. So we'll kind of go over some of those common themes and if there's some reasons behind it. But as we start this hour, let's get some more reaction from those that played in the game, kind of what went wrong in their words. Let's first hear from Keegan Murray, who I thought for the better part of the game was one of his better games. He was so efficient. 10 of 14 was his final line, 6 of 7 beyond the arc, 28 points. He did play with foul trouble with the 5 fouls, had a block, 3 steals, 5 rebounds. He had an assist, had some tough defensive assignments, but he talked about what went wrong.
It's a little different kind of zone. They take away the 3, take away different passing lanes, and then Bam's kind of on an island in an isolation in the middle. So they take a lot of things that we're good at, and they've been effective with that this year.
Yeah, and so Keegan addressing the zone there, but he also talked about the early part of the game, the first quarter, when the Kings were kind of chasing the Heat and ultimately caught him. But the third quarter was absolutely brutal.
It's not why we put ourselves in this position. It's just try and get better. We're down. We got down, 18? So we're just trying to help each other out in different ways. And I feel like a lot of our guys helped that at the end of the third quarter. So I feel like the first and third quarters is where we got beat.
All right, there's some thoughts on what he thought went wrong for the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox was more about complimenting Miami. Look, Miami is a good team. They really are. I know they were down some key pieces, but there's a philosophy, that Heat culture we talk a lot about already. Here was De'Aaron talking about really the way Miami is going to play, no matter who they have out on the floor that's wearing those Heat jerseys.
Regardless of, and it's like a running joke, like regardless of who Miami puts out there, it looks like that's a team that played in the finals or have played together for a while. So, they have guys who do their job. They have guys who come out, regardless of how long they've been with the team, they play hard. DeLon, I think, signed with the team last week, and he's out there in big minutes. So just their continuity. They play hard. They understand what they need to do. Like I said, they played zone for probably 80% of this game, and their continuity in that defense, just being able to be disruptive, get their hand on the ball, I think was a lot. They made it difficult for us. And then, they shot 52% and 36. Obviously, Jaime Jaquez had a big game. Bam was big for him down the stretch. They made plays. They made plays down the stretch. Caleb Martin, we saw what he did in the finals. He came out and he hit us in the mouth first, and then they kind of follow suit.
And I think maybe in that answer too is partly what I guess I was trying to explain earlier. What I think is that small piece, the very, very small piece, but a significant one that I think is missing from the Kings. I think the route they have chosen to go here for the better part of the last year plus is of continuity. I appreciate that. I think there's some you got to understand the strength of what that can bring. So the same coach, the same coaches, a lot of the same players. So the experience, what they've been through. What I would like to see from the squad is kind of that identity that De'Aaron Fox is talking about with Miami. So yes, I know that Terry Rozier was out, and he's a new member of the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero, who's been a productive member of that team. Jimmy Butler, who kind of just exemplifies Heat culture. Those are all very important pieces. But when you can insert Duncan Robinson in more minutes, and Jaime Jaquez in more minutes, and Caleb Martin in more minutes, and guys that have been there that already understand the way it has to be, like a non-negotiable has to be, this is who we are, this is what we do, and if you beat us, you beat us. But we're going to play our way, and that, I think, some teams have identified better than the Sacramento Kings. So if you were to try to take yourself from being someone that watches the Kings every night, but also having that knowledge, and you say, I see the Sacramento Kings, I would say, and much like we get mad every day when we're like, the Kings aren't getting any love. Why don't they talk about Sabonis? Why don't they talk about De'Aaron Fox? They're never mentioned in some of the better teams in the West. I think because of the perception of the Sacramento Kings. This is a good basketball team. I think when you look at them, probably the majority of the people, and you get stuck with labels, and sometimes labels and stereotypes are correct, or at least you support them. I would think the majority of the non-Sacramento Kings fans that know about the Kings, that have some knowledge about the league, that are watching the league on a regular basis, would think, oh yeah, the Sacramento Kings, they've got a good home crowd, they've got a good fan base, they've got a pretty fun offense and a fun style to play. Wouldn't you think that's roughly a fair generalization of the Sacramento Kings? And so Miami comes in here last night, and I'm thinking, oh boy, Heat culture. They play hard, no matter who's there. Like I'm already feeling that. I'm not even playing. I just know it's going to happen. You're watching the game, and you could just sense it. And it's Utah used to be like that. I still think they have some of that, some of it in their DNA, but really under Quinn Snyder, they had it in Jerry Sloan. Like, they were always going to be a team you have to beat. I think the Spurs are still that way. They just don't have enough talent. But if you can be closer to that team that, look, you've got this flashy offense. The Kings still, by the end of the night, I feel like the zone bothered them to some degree. But if you look at the box score, by the end of the night, I mean, the Kings shot 53%. That's a good night. 40% from three, hit 13 of them. Foul line wasn't great, just not enough attempts, 7 of 12. Had more rebounds, 30 assists. That's a winning formula. After the 7 turnover first quarter, 8 the rest of the game. 15's not terrible, not great. Starting 5 in double figures. It's sometimes the littlest thing with this team. Sometimes. And there's other nights that just don't have it. They don't play well. Like last night was a night where they didn't have it. Last night wasn't a night where I looked at it as a complete lack of effort or a non-belief in Miami. I looked at it as there's just maybe one more gear or one more, not even a gear that's different with Miami. It's just it never changes for 4 quarters. It's pretty much going to be their DNA when you jump the ball at center circle to start the game. And I think it's close to that for the Kings, close. And there's stretches where there's, and I'm trying to not mix up the results of the way they play versus how they're playing, if that makes sense. Like Miami played with that intensity, that culture, that energy for 4 quarters while getting blitzed by the Kings in that 6-minute stretch in the fourth quarter. They didn't forget how to play. The Kings ratcheted up, put on some intensity, used that sense of urgency, and got back in the game. So it's that piece for as much as 4 quarters to me that hasn't been there consistently enough for the Sacramento Kings. Let's get a little bit more. Another comment here from Mike Brown.
They've won 7 of 9. They went into Milwaukee without basically the same guys and beat Milwaukee by 20. So for us, I just didn't think defensively until the last quarter we didn't get it done. One of the things that I probably could have done to help them more was probably go to zone. We played zone in the fourth quarter. And, our guys were aggressive in the zone. They did a good job talking, and then they went to man at the right time. So maybe I could have helped them more by doing that. But I just thought that they outworked us throughout most of the game and ended up getting a win.
All right, there's some comments there from Mike Brown. So next up, the Kings will take on the Denver Nuggets. And again, that focus, that intensity for 4 quarters is going to need to be there in Denver. All right, so what are the things that are hurting the Kings? Is there a common thread? We've had some input from you guys. I've got my opinions on that. We'll kind of zero in on that. I was kind of talking a little bit about that identity that seems to be missing from this team. We'll zero in that when we return here on Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this. Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton's President's Day savings. Unleash luxury and precision in a new Acura Integra, RDX, MDX, or TLX. Quality meets affordability with savings on our best selection. Get to AcuraofStockton.com and start your experience today. On the road in style. Visit us today or go to AcuraofStockton.com. Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sactown Sports.
We're going to have some numbers for you coming up in our next segment about some of the Kings' performances. Dave was looking for that yesterday. Dave out today. It's Jason Ross here. Chris Verlot. Again, we're leading you up to Styles and Watkins. We'll have celebrity birthdays later in the show, a little crosstalk with the guys. Also, what to watch. Kings don't play tonight, but there's plenty to check out tonight regarding that and some things that could potentially help the Kings in the playoff watch. Let's hope tonight. So you want to do what you can to keep that out of the answer where you're relying on others, but that might be what the Kings need here as they go forward and try to move up in the standings. Last night was a night that hurt them in the standings. Tonight could be a night that they could get a help. All right, so let's talk about, not excuses, but reasons. What's going on here with the Kings on a consistent basis? Now that we've seen this many games, we're 57 games in, and trying to identify, in my mind, some trouble areas for the Sacramento Kings consistently. Now, sometimes the Kings check these boxes and it doesn't show up, but I would say more times than not, some of these things I'm going to identify have bothered this team, because one of the areas I'm going to start with is when a team plays the Kings very physically. I think the Clippers are a physical team, and I thought the other night the Kings played that game as physically as I could remember. I mean, James Harden's going to body you, look to draw fouls, but they have so many 6'6" to 6'10" guys switching and versatility. They push, they grab, they hold, they're physical. I thought the Kings matched that, handled that, and played that game beautifully. I think by and large, though, when you look at the bulk of the season, that is something that has bothered the Kings, is when an opposing team plays them with kind of a physical approach. Another thing that I would say has bothered the Kings at times, and both times they've played Miami, a few other teams have slipped into this, is when opposing teams go into a zone. And so Sacramento, I know they practice it. It's much like when people complain about, the Kings and free throw shooting. They practice it. You highlight it. I mean, zone, it's really about scheme. It's about moving bodies, moving people. They're guarding principles, and sometimes you run guys through the key and you push as a defender in the zone. Okay, my guy's running through my kind of area. I got him. Now he's yours. It's a lot about communication and creating angles and tough spots to really execute your offense, where the Kings in a lot of league likes to spread the floor, create matchups that are beneficial, and use that ball movement and read and react offense and carve you up. Well, last night, Keegan kind of addressed the issue of the zone that Miami played, and it certainly seemed to bother the Kings at times.
It's a little different kind of zone. They take away the three, take away different passing lanes, and then Bam's kind of on an island in isolation in the middle. So they take a lot of things that we're good at, and they've been effective with that this year.
So again, good coaching. Take a lot of things that we're good at, and they try to take it away. That's what Miami did, and the Kings have to be ready for that. Are the Kings, how well do they handle the counters of these teams? Much like a point of emphasis last year in the postseason, Golden State did everything they could to limit the effectiveness of Domantas Sabonis. He still got numbers. He still was good in the series. He wasn't great. He wasn't like we saw in the regular season, like an all MVP or an MVP type, an all NBA guy, because that was the scheme. That was the game plan. Well, the Kings, what are their counters to these things? De'Aaron Fox talked about what Miami was doing with their aggressive zone as well.
Their activity, getting in past lanes and being physical, kind of turned us over. I don't think we've seen as much zone from any team in the league as we have out of this team. And I think they did a great job in it and just being able to disrupt our offense.
So Miami, their ability to show something different that the Kings just don't see all the time, but at times handled, at other times did not. So again, it's that nuance that Sacramento needs to continue to work on. Other areas, seemingly to me, observing this year's team, besides the one that I know I'm getting from a lot of you when I'm asking for your input, is, the Kings losing to teams that are undermanned. We're going to have some numbers on that coming up. But also the fact that last night, to me specifically, the unique nature of last night's game, Miami and other teams have done this, but what Miami was doing was they were seeking out switches and seeking out mismatches. And so when the Kings went to zone later, that's less of a you're not really trying to get to switches, you're trying to get to spaces in a zone, right? Like you're not getting in a spot. You could put your guys where you want in a zone and roughly they stay in that general area. In a man-to-man, you can get switches, and then what we were seeing last night in that third quarter a ton of is switches where Kevin Huerter was guarding Kevin Love, or Davion got switched on to Jaime Jaquez, or De'Aaron Fox did, or smaller players. Bam Adebayo was maybe switched onto someone else that he can handle. And so Miami did it by recognizing it in a way where they used it with their physical play and post-ups. Well, a lot of other teams do it with quickness and one-on-one players. So teams are doing that consistently on the Kings, trying to get switches into the mismatches. And here's where the coaching decision comes in. So I'll put you in the chair of Mike Brown, where you're going, okay, Kevin Huerter's having a decent offensive night, and you're down 20. One of your best scorers and three-point shooters also hit a couple threes to get you back into the game, but at times maybe can be exploited on the other. That's a tough one. Do you go to Malik Monk? Do you go to Trey Lyles? Like do you keep Harrison Barnes in the game? Like there's some push and pull that when you lose, you look back and go, man, did I do this right? Could I have done something differently? Mike Brown already alluded to maybe going to the zone a bit earlier. The other area I would say with consistency that hurts the team is when an opposing team has someone that Domantas Sabonis can't, physically move around. And Bam Adebayo is athletic, quick, and a pretty physical. He's a really good defender. He's been one of the game's great interior defenders for several years. And so Domantas Sabonis, by the end of the night, his magic still gets his 21st triple-double, 14, 14, and 10. But I didn't feel the same kind of impact. 4 turnovers, was in foul issues early, but never picked up that third foul. Here's Coach Brown talking about when Domas gets disrupted, and Miami certainly did that.
Bam's a really good player, and we told Domas, we told our whole team that, hey, it's going to be tough because the sprays are going to be there. As soon as you catch the ball in the pocket, or if you catch the ball in the post, the Heat they're coming, and they're coming. They're swiping down at the ball. They're really aggressive with their double teams and their digs, and you got to think spray the ball. And both Foxy and Domas, and I thought that they both struggled a little bit with that. I think Domas had 4 turnovers and Foxy had 7 turnovers, and a lot of it was when they were in the paint and they got collapsed on, and we didn't get the ball out in a timely manner. And so it was going to be tough for Domas to score down there because of how quickly they come and how active they are when they come. It's just one of those types of games where you just got to continue. Both those guys got to continue trusting their teammates, spray the ball, and try not to turn it over.
So, being able to be put in that position is a tough one for Sabonis, but that's what he's going to get. He is going to get, whether it's his own defense, a physical imposing team, double teams. He's seen a lot of it. And last night there were a couple times he would get it with basically invited to shoot. And he shot a couple times, made a three, made another decent mid-range. But I feel like, there's a lot of times where he's just really surveying, and he's such a unselfish player. And the more you get a lot of guys touches and the ball has energy, that those are all productive and healthy things for the team. But sometimes he just needs to go get it and be a little bit more aggressive. So again, these are small things, I think correctable things, fixable things. Looking at our text line, let's go over some of these that we're getting input on at 916-339-1140. Let's see. The Kings shouldn't even be on playoff watch, coming from the text line of the 916. Another one, free throws, just horrible. Last night, 7 of 12. That's not going to get it done. I wish there were more attempts as well. We've seen this one a lot. Jason, all the problems with the Kings is unfortunately the coaching. I don't want them gone. I just want them to wake up sometimes. Okay. We've gotten a lot of points to coaching today. A lot of stuff being thrown to Mike Brown. Mike Brown's a big boy. He knows this stuff happens. It gets, people are going to be critical of everybody, of players, coaches. Another one, it wasn't just the switches and mismatches. Miami was seeking Kevin Huerter. He's not a good defender, and they were going after him every single opportunity. They were attacking him. I mean, seriously, there was about 3 stretches in a row in the third quarter when it was either Love or Jaquez that they were just like, yeah, this is a mismatch. And that's smart. I mean, that's what you do. And so can the Kings, could they have doubled quicker? Mike Brown talked about, could they have gone to the zone quicker? Yes. The answer is yes to both of those. And so the Kings have to be sharper in all aspects of this. Coaching, players. Again, last night to me wasn't a hideous performance, but one that felt like what a difference it would have been if they won that game, even if they had that deficit like they did and they came back and won. Like, it was feeling like they were going to complete one of those great comebacks and have a full feel good today, gain a half game on everybody, winners of 4 in a row, and really go into Denver with some momentum. Now the mood changes that quickly with a disappointing loss. You feel a sense of urgency to find a way to get a win in Denver and Minnesota before coming to what would be probably a more favorable schedule from here on out for a while. A lot of those games are at home. We all get excited for home games, but sometimes I think this team also plays better on the road when that's all they're doing, that's all they're focused on. They're all together, and they're just thinking about playing basketball. And their last 2 road games have been 2 of their best games of the year, beating Denver on the road and beating the Clippers on the road. So if they could keep that part going in Denver and Minnesota, I think it will also lead to the confusion of the 23-24 Kings that have shown us some really good basketball, equally some frustrating and disappointing basketball as well. All right, we were talking numbers, some of the numbers that we were looking for. What are those numbers? What does it look like when the Kings have certain individuals that score 20 or more, and when the opposing team doesn't have some of their best players? We'll discuss those numbers, still to come, who's hot, who's not, recap the 3 in the key, and so much more. That's all coming up here on your home of the Kings, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Hey Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at
Elk Grove Kia. Fidium Fiber Internet is fast becoming a hometown favorite. With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sled. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise Guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
They bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sactown Sports.
Right back here on Sactown Sports. Jason Ross, Christopher Law, no Carmichael Dave today. As the Kings, another disappointing night for the Sacramento Kings, and trying to get you guys to best characterize this season. I mean, I know we asked earlier in Three for Madness, is this the most frustrating year? And if not, what would it be? I think it's tough to compare year to year, but it's frustrating. But I will say this on the level of frustration, I'll take this as if we're deeming this as frustrating, where the still possibility is either a play-in or a playoff team and a team that can be in a series. I mean, look, after 16 years of not making it, 17, whatever it was, and then finally getting in, that was so enjoyable to be there. That was nice. Now you're trying to grow and get better. I mean, I still think this team is in a better spot, certainly than they've been in a long, long time. But that doesn't mean we can't want more. We should want more. I hope they want more. And they're going to try to do that here over the next couple of weeks, really, to dictate the terms, because last night's loss did hurt them in the standings, dropping from 5th to 7th. So one of the things yesterday that Carmichael Dave was asking about is, like, I just wonder what the record is when some of these guys score 20 points or more, if there's any kind of key or impact or I was doing a bunch of numbers on this, Chris, and I don't know that I can find any rhyme or reason. I'm going to give you the number of games that said player has scored 20 points or more. And I got to make sure I'm not missing anybody because I think I got everybody on this list. But what would be your rough guess as to who do you think scored 20 or more in a game this year for the Kings? If you went down the list.
Fox.
Of course.
Sabonis.
Yep. That's 2.
Murray.
3.
Barnes.
4.
Monk.
5.
Herter.
6.
Lyles.
Yeah. The list is done.
Oh.
Yeah. No one else has scored 20 or more, to my knowledge, basically looking at
I would say there's not one on that list that hasn't done it multiple times, right?
From the ones you guessed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're all multiples.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. All right. So each person, like, is there a lean here? Like, oh man, if this guy goes for 20, they're going to win all the time. Well, it's a little bit predictable here, but the numbers are interesting for based on what their record is. So I'm going to go in order. It's basically alphabetical order here. So let's start with Barnes. I'm going to tell you that he has scored 20 or more 9 times. What do you think the Kings' record is?
7-2.
We have a correct answer. The Kings are 7-2 when Harrison Barnes scores 20 or more. All right. This one will be a little bit more challenging. De'Aaron Fox, what do you think? How many times do you think he scored 20 or more?
He has scored 20 or more 30 times.
38.
Oh.
So what do you think the record is when he scores 20 or more?
Oh, man, you're making me do math.
I know.
I'm going to say 38.
Oh, he's getting the pen and paper out.
24 and 14.
24 and 14. Wow. 25 and 13. So you got Barnes when they score 20 or more, they're 7-2. De'Aaron Fox, 38 times, they're 25 and 13. All right, how many times for Red Velvet? How many times do you think he scored 20 or more?
He has done that 5 times.
Kevin Huerter's done it 7 times. So you're pretty close in all these numbers. What's their record when Kevin Huerter scores 20 or more?
6-1.
5-2. 5-2. You are right on. All right. How about Money Malik Monk? What is their record when and how many times first has he scored 20
He's done it
or more?
8 times.
8 times?
Yes.
Malik has done it 19 times.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's their record with Malik Monk going for 20 or more?
I am going to say 19 times.
Uh-huh.
They are 10-9.
They are 14-5.
Okay.
So that's that one that jumps out a little bit. Barnes at 7-2. That's a really good percentage. How about Keegan Murray?
He's done it 10 times.
Keegan Murray, including last night, now has done it 13 times. What's their record?
They are 9-4.
We have a correct answer. 9-4 when Keegan Murray goes for 20 or more. So Barnes at 7-2, Fox at 25 and 13, Huerter at 5-2, Monk at 14-5, and Keegan Murray at 9-4. The last one, the big fella, Domantas Sabonis. How many times has Mr. Triple Double done that?
He has done it 28 times.
28 times. He has done it 25 times.
Okay.
What do you got for a record there?
I think that they are they are 17 and 8.
They are 19-6.
Man.
So,
I'm pretty good.
You are pretty good at
I
guessing.
am like Chilean actor Pedro Pascal, killing it this year.
Self-proclaimed, right? I don't know what that end all be all, what that ultimately means, what the end result of that is. Obviously, you want multiple guys, and
I think the big one is Barnes.
Yeah, because that's a smaller sample size. That's 9, but if you go 7-2 in 9 games, to me, obviously it seems like the most productive are Fox and Sabonis. I don't know that. I don't want to say Fox's numbers are irrelevant because that's not the case. I mean, obviously that's pretty good, 25 and 13 when he does that. But it feels like you're going to get that majority of the nights. And it's critical to have at least one of those guys. I probably should do a deeper dive if you have any games with 2 of those non-Fox Sabonis guys getting 20, what their record is. But To me, all this is fine. I think they've got more. Like Barnes has done this more recently. Herder has done this more recently. I think Keegan had more higher scoring games last year, but he's become more important defensively to what this team is doing. So, I'll continue to dive into these numbers and try to figure out what more they mean, what more they can get out of this, because I don't think there's one common thread, but what I do like is there's nothing that shows, when that guy scores 20, it doesn't help. I mean, basically, they have a winning record. They have a good record with all of them. 7-2 for Barnes, 25-13 for Fox, 5-2 for Herder, 14-5 for Monk, 9-4 for Keegan, and 19-6 for Sabonis. And last night, as far as guys that got 20 or more, you had Fox get there, you had Keegan get there. Could have used a little bit more from the rest of the group. All right, so that's just part of the numbers. The other one I want to get to, we'll do this when we come back. I want you guys to hang on to this one because I was looking at this up because it's been a narrative and it's been an easy one, but we'll see if the numbers are supported. Last night, another night when the Kings faced an opponent without their full crew. What are the numbers? So we're going to take, and I'll explain what I did on the numbers, what it looks like. Is it good or bad for the Kings? We've got that. Who's hot, who's not. Recap 3 in the key and more straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-805-1723. 800-805-1723. That's 800-805-1723.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
All right, it's time to ask that question, those two questions, who's hot and who's not. But let's start with who's hot. Chris, what do you got?
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah?
His last 3 games, Jokic has scored 82 points, grabbed 50 rebounds, and has 45 assists. He's the second player in NBA history to have those numbers in a 3-game span since Wilt Chamberlain in March of 1968. Ooh. Let's see if that streak continues when they play, the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, hey, I know them. Tomorrow night. Both teams will be on, the Nuggets will have one more day of rest than the Kings. That's okay. All right. Feels more fair in that situation. I would say he's hot. That's for sure. Who's not?
The Washington Wizards.
Okay.
They currently have the longest losing streak in the NBA with 11 losses in a row. If they lose today when they host the Warriors and lose Thursday when they're at the Lakers on the road, they will have gone the entire month of February without a win.
Yeah, and suddenly, not that Detroit's hot. Detroit's lost 6 in a row, but there's a real good chance that the Wizards could have the worst record. Remember Detroit, how bad they were, set the record for most losses in a row. Detroit's 8-49. Washington's 9-48. Man, 9-48. Okay, we'll recap our 3 in the key in a moment. So we gave you those numbers on. That's what Dave was looking for yesterday, and I did the homework, so want to have the payoff. We had others ask, and I wanted to look this up myself. Oh, the Kings always lose games when they don't have, when teams are undermanned. To me, it's happened more than I thought. So the Kings now have played 57 games. So, Chris, the way I determined this, I didn't count bench players. I basically went to what would be deemed as teams' regular starting lineup. So if a starter or more were out, I called that like an undermanned game, right? So out of the 57 games, how many times do you think it's even happened this year when the Kings have played an opposing team that we would deem didn't start their regular lineup?
Okay, so these are starters?
Mm-hmm. So like last night was a game, like Miami, that was not their normal game.
I'll say 25.
25. You're pretty good again. 29 times it's happened this year. So there we go. Let's have fun with numbers. So 29 times. Are the Kings 0-29 like it always happens? No. What do you think is their record?
1-28. No.
With the Clipper game the other night being the one advantage.
29 games. They are above 500. I'm going to say...
And I didn't give Chris any of these numbers. He's been really good today.
I'm going to say 17 and
12.
12.
Okay. You're way off. No. 18 and 11. You're right there. So, but there's some bad ones. There are some bad ones looking back at this. You look at the first time, like we looked at the Charlotte loss as bad. It was bad, but it was also bad who was out. A Portland loss in there. And there's 11 times when teams... Even the very first home game of the year, the Warriors didn't have Draymond Green. So I counted that. Stuff like that. I counted regular people that you would count. But there's 3 wins against Denver without 2 of them without Jamal Murray. You had another one without KCP and Michael Porter Jr. You have the Clipper win the other day. You have the win at home against the Hawks without Trae Young. So they've won games without the opposing team. But 11 losses is pretty substantial. So it's happened a lot, where they've had what you would deem as an advantage. And They've lost 11 times that way this year. And when you're counting precious games in the NBA, in the standings, when we're looking at the watch every day and going, okay, you're in the top 10, you've moved up to 5th, you've dropped to 8th, you're back up to 6th, you're in 7th. It's the woulda, shoulda, coulda is going to be very prominent for the Kings, but for every team this year. So those are the numbers there. When other teams, I would say, would be quote unquote undermanned, whether it's one starter, two starters, multiple players, different starting lineup. The Kings have had that 29 times this year, including last night, but last night fell in that loss department where they're now 18-11 in those games. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Let's recap our predictions, what we thought before would happen. Let's see how we did in our 3 in the Key. All right. We were at full staff yesterday. We had Dave back with us, myself and Chris. We made 3 predictions on the game last night. We knew Miami would play some zone. Opportunity to hurt the zone is to space, get some paint touches, kick out for threes. So we asked the question, how many 3-pointers would the Sacramento Kings make? Dave said 13. I said 14. Chris, you said 16. So we're all pretty close in our guesses. We did have a correct answer. Carmichael Dave got it. 13 made threes. Dave gave us the second category. He said, let's figure out what Bam Adebayo's stat line would be. Now, Bam was going to have to carry a lot of the offensive load. Dave thought he'd go for 26, 10, and 3. I said 22, 9, and 7. Chris, you said 17, 12, and 3. He ended with 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. I was pretty close. Dave was closer, though, as he was 2 off the points. He got the rebounds right and 4 off the assists. Lastly, we asked the ever-popular random stat, something different, something weird, something random that we thought would happen in the game. And remember, Frankie Cardicelli participated in this. And Frankie said that Mike Brown would call a timeout within the first 2 minutes of the game. That did not happen.
What an idiot.
Frankie's 0 for 1 lifetime on 3 in the Key. Carmichael Dave said Eric Spoelstra would get a technical foul. That didn't happen. Though you said he was pretty hot down there. It was close to one, maybe. I said, oh boy, did I really? I'm not going to read mine.
Do it.
I'm going to save the embarrassment. I'm going to look at the stat line before I do. Oh, woof. I said Chris Duarte would get in double figures. He was 0 for 2. Had a rebound, had an assist, had a steal, and a block. He was +2 in his plus-minus. Should have played more.
How many minutes did he have?
16.
Okay. Double digits?
Double digits. I meant points. He had 0. Chris, noted Miami Heat fan and Jaime Jaquez fan, said that Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Triple J
would score, and you really doubted your guy with your stat. You said 14 points or more. I think he did that in the 4th. He ended with 28 points. He was
see, if I would have known that Hero and
Rozier out,
I probably would have bumped it up to 20.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, he was absolutely awesome. Impressive to watch, unfortunately, at the expense of the Sacramento Kings. Not why I'm wearing UCLA today, by the way. I just happen to wear it, but some people, the spy is back. Gross. The spy
now
is back.
Who's the noted Heat fan?
Yeah, let me talk about Kevin Love and Jaime Jaquez Jr. and how great they were last night. But they were.
Is it still wild that Kevin Love is still contributing in the NBA for this long?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good spot to be a bench player now for him. And he's year about 16, I think, 15.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's the guy that Domantas Sabonis is trying to catch for the record of double streaks in a row. It's like, I mean, people forget how dominant he was in Minnesota. And he was really important in the Cavs playoff teams and certainly the championship. And then here he is as a nice piece to the Miami Heat bench and was instrumental in that victory yesterday to get them to 32-25. Kings dropped to 33-24. Win streak came to an end, but there was a win streak in the NBA last night that was hit for the first time. Chris, did you hear the story out of Toronto? Darko Rajojevic, I think is how you say it, Rakojevic, their coach, had promised the team if they won 3 games in a row, they'd never won 3 games in a row, he was going to get dinner. He was going to buy the team dinner, so it's going to be on the coach's dime. They won last night. They actually had a surprise win over Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. Pascal Siakam playing his former team. Was that for me or for someone else?
Somebody else.
Okay. Crack the code in there if you'd like. So the Raptors won. They won 3 in a row, and apparently afterwards, like, you could hear all the Raptors going, pizza, pizza. I'm like,
pizza?
Exactly. I'm like, team, you guys got Raptors. Like, I don't think the coach promised pizza, and he basically afterwards there's quotes from him saying, look, we got a humble team. That's all they're asking for is pizza. Get him off his wallet. Take him to expensive dinner. Get one of those absurd bills.
Man, I'm out of cash.
Absurd bills. A bunch
Isn't
of
it right next to what's that famous steak place? St. Elmo's?
Next to where?
In Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Like, go there.
Right after the win, it's 3 in a row. Put it on the
Walk
coach's
in,
dime.
still wearing your clothes.
Yes. No shower. Do a little post-game media. Walk in. You could chant pizza if you walk in, and everyone's like, why are they getting pizza? No, get steak. Get, surf and turf, whatever you want. Get some drinks. Make that tab. Coach makes good money. But how funny is that? Like, pizza, like, again, I like pizza. There's nothing wrong with pizza. But to me, that's not paying off a bet. And for the guys to be chanting pizza.
So it was in high school. We had a tournament down in LA, and we were invited by this team. And it's one of those, they were all like Southern California teams. And like the team hosting it, they were like the favorites and just thought that they're just going to invite these teams in and just run through all of them. And our team was
dog walk and
good
in a boat race.
Our team was good. The other teams were like,
Yeah.
Like we had easy work with them. So we go and we like the crowd is just absolutely packed with people. And like none of our families are there because it's LA. There's like, I think 10 people that came down and we won. And so we're all celebrating after the game. And like the team is just like, hey, what are we going to do? Yeah, what are we going to do? And someone's just like, let's go out to eat somewhere. Someone else is like, let's go back to the hotel. We'll figure it out. One of our friends just goes, let's go to the movies.
What?
just complete screech. And all of us just look at him like, and he's like being serious.
Yeah.
And then it's just like all out laughter. Could not keep it down.
He didn't have a movie. He dialed in. He just thought, hey, let's have a team
let's just
bonding.
go to theater and figure it out.
Yeah, we'll go there. We'll have a good time. We'll not talk to each other and watch a movie. No, that was, you guys needed a celebration. Did you figure it out? What'd you guys do?
I think we went out to pizza.
And a movie. Oh, my goodness. Good times. Good times. All right, we got another hour ahead here on the show. In our final hour, more on this Kings loss to Miami, more reaction as well. More of an impact on the standings, too. We'll do that. We're going to do this constantly, too. If the postseason started today, what would the path look like for the Kings? We've got that and more coming up on Sactown Sports.
Kevin Herter plays here.
It's Herter. He's been hot. He fires. He's still hot. Kevin Herter from downtown has a 15-point first quarter.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
Huge savings on our remaining 2023 Rams as we make room for the hundreds of 2024s arriving daily. This month, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And you won't find a better selection of new Ram trucks in Northern California with over 500 Rams available.
Well, that sounds like a good deal, but why drive all the way to Hoblet, Chad?
For 4 generations, we prided ourselves on being the small town dealer with big city selection and savings. When you buy from Hoblet, you're family, which is why so many of our customers come back and buy from us time after time.
Come to Hoblet and see what it's like to be treated like family at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 74.88 factory rebates and 75.12 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction bonus cash. Must have purchased eligible with new case equipment to qualify, and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be carrying member of eligible first responder association. 5 with net savings. Symbol VIN 7000008.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Start your 2024 grilling season right with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. It's incredible. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Is at work. He's got 25 points. He also has 8 rebounds and 6 assists. 9 of his 25 have come in the fourth quarter. Back to a 4-point game, and now inside 4 minutes to go. Ball fake by Jaquez, best baseline. Digs to the paint, gives it up. The ball's knocked loose by Herter. It's grabbed by Fox. Cruises up the left wing. He takes it all the way to the rim and scores. De'Aaron Fox with double-digit scoring in the fourth quarter. Now has a 27-point game. Sacramento was within 2 at 110 to 108. Miami leading by 6 at 114-108. Keegan with a steal, races up the floor, spins away from one defender, plants, and rips down the two-hand flush. 28 points for Keegan. Back to a 4-point, 2-possession game at 114-110. Working almost straight away, has picked up his dribble. He's looking for help. He finds Adebayo against Sabonis. Now Fox picks up Bam. Bam with a dribble handoff to Robinson. Back to Adebayo at the free throw line. Shakes, turnaround Jay. That's his bread and butter, and he scores it. 116-110. We're down to a minute 16 to go. Point sounds, and this one is over. So the Miami Heat have won for the 8th time in the last 10 games. They do it in convincing fashion. Sacramento had a 55-45 lead in the first half. But that 10-point advantage was pared down to a 3-point deficit at halftime as Miami finished the second quarter on a 20-7 run. Then they finished the third quarter on a 10-0 run. They led by 20, as we mentioned, with 10 minutes to go, and the Kings got it down to 2 points at 110-108. But they couldn't get to the top of the mountain.
I mean, we changed up. We went zone a little. We pressed up a little more. We were able to get deflections, get out and run, get some easy baskets. And obviously, Keegan and Kevin are making big shots. Like I said, we can talk about how effort this, effort that. I mean, Keegan and Kevin makes 3 threes in a row. Now we're like, oh, my God, they're playing well. No, not much has changed. They made 3 threes in a row, and now the game looks a lot different. So, like I said, we have to be better in other aspects of the game, but they played better than us.
That's De'Aaron Fox. Some highlights there from the G-Man, lowlights too. They ended up as a loss for the Sacramento Kings. And as we said now, I think unofficially, as we did our best to go through all the box scores and games when the Kings play a team not fully stacked and ready to go like Miami was last night. Kings are now 18-11 against those teams. So still a winning record, but you think about that, 11 times they've lost games like that where they've had some opportunities to capitalize, and they didn't do it last night. Miami was great. They were up for the challenge. They played hard, played smart, great execution late, really took advantages of mismatches, and their zone really bothered the Kings for a chunk of the game, and their ability to post up and create matchups in their favor. I think the Kings waited too long to go a little bit bigger and just had some tough matchup situations throughout the game. And so Miami prevailed. They get it done. They sweep Sacramento, and now the Kings find themselves tumbled down the standings because that's how tight it is. And as we begin the final hour of the show today, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud here, Carmichael Dave out today. We will have Styles and Watkins in a little bit later. We'll see what's coming up on their show, and we'll hit them with some crosstalk and celebrity birthdays in the final portion of this hour. So something we're going to do as the regular season winds down, we will continue to say which games to watch for this season or on a nightly basis, and we'll have that coming up. But also a standings checkout and a standings watch. Last night, there really wasn't much impact in the standings as far as a bunch of teams playing. There were just 3 other games in the NBA. Most of it was Eastern Conference work. Nobody in the top 10 but the Kings. And so with the loss, the Kings tumbled below Phoenix and New Orleans. They're in a tie with Dallas. Technically, they've got the tiebreaker up 2-0 with a couple of wins in Dallas. Dallas still comes here for 2. But at 33-24, Sacramento is in an okay position. But what is the position now? So present day, right now, if the postseason, if this was the end of the season, the Sacramento Kings would be in a play-in game. They would host, that's the good news, as a 7 seed, they would host Dallas. And the way the play-in works, the Kings have never been in the play-in. I hope they don't. I hope they get a playoff team. Now, they could still be a playoff team if you win in the play-in. The 7-8 matchup would be the Kings hosting the Dallas Mavericks. A one-game situation. At home, I like that part of it. I like the matchup with Dallas. But now when you start to think about that part of it, let's go down this road. And you've got one game at home where this team has been a little bit too up and down for a lot of people's liking. And Dallas, when healthy, can throw out Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. So when some of the trouble spots I talked about earlier of common themes that I think have bothered the Kings, what I don't think Dallas has is that interior presence that is the type of person that they could go all out and really bother Domantas Sabonis. Now, they can throw a lot of different bodies at him, but I think the Kings have looked very comfortable, I would say, over the last 2 years when they've played Dallas. Generally, they've played high-scoring games. Luka and Kyrie have had good games at different times, but the King, Fox scores, they score. The Kings look comfortable against Dallas. You want to make teams uncomfortable, take something away. Dallas hasn't done a very good job of that against the Kings. Now, that might change in one game or one night, or maybe their offense is special better than the Kings on that game. But that's what it would look like right now, present moment, today at whatever it is, 9:06 a.m. on Tuesday, February 27th. The Kings would have the 7-8 matchup against Dallas Winner would then become the 7 seed, and based on tiebreakers, would face the 2 seed, and that 2 seed in the tiebreaker would be Oklahoma City, as they're in a tie for first with Minnesota. I think that path would be good. I don't love the play-in path, but you also have to think about the risk of the play-in. What's the risk? You lose that game. Now, the Kings wouldn't be out yet, but they would then play the 9-10 winner, and right now that's the Lakers and the Warriors. They would also host this team. To me, that has such a risk-reward to it. The risk, you know what it is. You would have already lost the 7-8 game at home. Now you're at home. The risk is you could lose a second consecutive home game and not even be a playoff team. Technically be in the lottery. From being as high as 5 seed at one point this season to a lottery team. That's the risk. The reward would be a win over either the Lakers or the Warriors, so you're knocking that team out. That'd be great. That'd be fun. Kings fans would love that. But to me, this is like the worst case scenario for the Kings as far as what I'd like to see them in. I'd like to, and Monty McNair told this to Dave a week and a half ago or so when he was on that Friday, where it was the goal is to get in the top 6. That's still very, very reachable. As we speak, just a half game out of that spot. The second goal would be to get in the top 4. That's going to be more difficult, and it was even more difficult had they won last night. That top 4 is separated a little bit. Minnesota and OKC, that we just talked about, tied for first at 40-17. They're a game and a half clear of Denver, who I still think might be the best team, or the Clippers in the West. I put more faith in Denver and the Clippers right now than I do in the Timberwolves and the Thunder, though they've got better records. So trying to get into the top 4 will be very, very challenging for the Sacramento Kings. I think it's really important to get to 5 or 6. I don't know which spot matters more. You're going on the road. There could be some charm to being in 6. It just depends on who's third, right? I think at this point, you want to get in. You want to avoid the risk of the play-in, get a little bit more rest, get your team lined up and right, and then locked in for – I mean, here's the other part of that. Let's say the scenario I just told you, and the Kings are in the 7-8 game, and even they get a win, which is good. You're knocking off a couple of days of prep for that 2 seed. Whereas if you've just a spot above and you're the 6 seed, while all these play-in games are going on what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Friday of the day or two after the season ends, and the playoffs begin Saturday, Sunday. You have days to prepare. And if you're a 5 or 6 seed, to travel, all that stuff for your opponent. Lock in on what your advantages are if you get OKC or if you get Minnesota or the Clippers or Denver, whoever it might be. So it's going to be a standings watch situation the remainder of the season. It's just there's no way around it. And the West is by far more bottled up than in recent years. I mean, there was some of that last year, like when the Kings were 3rd seed and Golden State was 6th, the separate, you're thinking, oh, the Kings are, considerably better than the Warriors. They weren't. They had a 3-game lead. I mean, it was basically right there. But this is tight. From 5 through 10 is separated by 4 games. And that gap from 5 to 4 is also 4 games. So there's really that tier, but there's a little separation between the Lakers and Warriors that are currently in the 9-10 spot. So we are going to be watching this. I will be watching this. We'll continue to monitor it, and coming up a little bit later, we'll tell you what
going
games.
to be monitoring the situation.
I'm going to be monitoring the situation closely so that we can be talking about this for decades. But what to watch a little bit later will be some very important games in the West in that top 10 action, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams playing tonight, and what, as a Kings fan, you'll want to be rooting for. All right, we've spent so much time on the Kings, and we could still continue this, and we will have more to get to. But there was another local story of interest. Kind of one of the greats from San Francisco says goodbye. He's a great Giant, but a good baseball player. Brandon Crawford will have a new home. We'll talk about that and what that means for the Giants and his legacy in San Francisco when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
On Sactown Sports.
One of the things that's been interesting here in the offseason with Major League Baseball, as the baseball season is coming up here shortly, is the amount of significant players that are still available via free agency. Baseball is doing well financially. We've seen some record-setting contracts signed over the last couple of years, including the massive one this offseason with Shohei Ohtani, the $700 million man. But I was reading the other day that the top 100 players ranked on MLB.com, and there were a decent number of the top 100 that were yet to be signed. And we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show about the running back market that is going to create a stir here in the NFL, about how many guys are going to become available. It's already been an undervalued position. But it's interesting that, you know, some good players have still been available to major league teams if they want them. Blake Snell, we're talking about Matt Chapman. Cody Bellinger just signed the other day. He got a new, I think it was 3-year deal with the Cubs worth about $80 million. But there's still more guys that are out there that are looking for homes if they still want to play. And one guy that looks like is going to get a new deal pending his physical is Brandon Crawford, who is one of those guys that, to me, you know, his story was amazing with the San Francisco Giants. Grew up a Giant fan, always wanted to be a Giant, became a Giant, and really had a very good San Francisco Giants career. He really did. I mean, he had a couple of years where he was kind of in the MVP hunt and was a terrific defensive player. 3 or 4 or 5 Gold Gloves. I don't remember the official number for him, but I know he's got multiple All-Star appearances. And until now, will have played his entire MLB career with the San Francisco Giants. And he's not going to be exclusive to this club, but he's going to join a list of people that will end their career on a different team, as he signed a deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. That maybe, you know, after the career is over, it's like, oh yeah, remember what team was he on at the end? And that is always a weird spot for athletes that spend the bulk of their time in one spot, want to continue to play, get a new contract, and end somewhere else. And that's what's going to go on with Brandon Crawford. He's 37. And to me, Brandon Crawford, like I said, would go down the line as a big-time success story as a Giant. Probably should be honored in some way as a San Francisco Giant. Was a really good baseball player, but part of that group that did some amazing things in the 2010s, right? 10, 12, and 14 World Series titles, and his career in San Francisco is over, but kind of caught up in the numbers game in San Francisco. Started to play less and less last year. Didn't have the same kind of impact in numbers. But at 37, obviously you could still field it. The guy's a great fielder. And we'll see. I know he's going to be competing for playing time in St. Louis, but
Gross.
Chris's favorite spot. Chris, St. Louis, your thoughts?
Terrible city.
Chris, your thoughts on Seattle?
Terrible city.
In your power ranking is your bottom three. Do you have a third?
The state of Arkansas.
Okay, not a city, but the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Kansas City and St. Louis and Seattle.
St. Louis is worse.
Any other U.S. states and cities you want to target? Gross.
Yeah, like people won't believe this because I've been very negative about these places. There's not really many places I've been to that I haven't liked.
But those three.
The
entire state of Arkansas, though.
Yes.
Catching heat today. All right. So we'll see. Congrats to. You got another one?
I can't do it. I was going to say El Centro.
Yeah.
But that's just because of the weather. That's just because it's hot. It's like the desert.
Yeah.
But like
all the time.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's cool. I'm cool with it. But yeah, Brandon Crawford, a great Giant, good baseball player. Now done in San Francisco. Looks like he's signing that deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. So just some thoughts on that. We're going to have what to watch too, some more spring training games and NBA games tonight. But checking in on the phone lines, 800-920-1140. More thoughts on the disappointment of last night, what went wrong for the Kings. Let's check in with Ken. Ken, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Man, I did not know how many kids I did.
They
took a guy that, frankly, is a role player on the team and made him look like all NBA first team. They literally could not stop this guy. He got everywhere he wanted to go. And I did not know a simple pivot could get you that open that often, and nobody can make an adjustment to stop it. I mean, it was pathetic. Every time the Kings do something to make you say, this team can contend, they come up with a game like last night to make you say, okay, they're losing in the play-in game. The consistency is just as it's there. And they're better on the road. They're a better road team than they are a home team. When you look at what separates the top teams in the West, they're like 5, 6, maybe 7 losses at home. The Kings got 10 losses at home, if not 11. It's ridiculous. They cannot protect home court. It seems you make a staple in this league if you're a good road team.
Yeah.
But that's just assuming that floor. The Kings aren't able to do that for whatever reason. And I am tired of seeing some teams' second, third, or fourth best scorer always having a career night against the Kings. It seems like there's always somebody going off. Like, what I got? You never see him when that team is playing somebody else. But somehow against the Kings, he stopped.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit here. We're losing you a bit at the end, Ken. Thank you for the call. And get your point and your confusion and your frustration. You're right. I mean, I think I feel the same way about the Kings, about their road play. I don't know how to, again, trying to put this into words and to quantify it. I feel like there's a eagerness to compete at the highest level against teams and shut them up in their arena. I don't know if it's the full-on bond and being together. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it. I mean, technically their record is a bit better at home, but I don't love it at 16-10. It's just okay. 17-14 on the road. I mean, you look at the most road wins in the West. Thunder, 17. Denver, 17. Clippers, 17. Pelicans, 17. Kings, 17. The only one better is Minnesota. They have 20. In the East, you've got 2 teams better than 17 road wins, Cleveland and Boston. So that's good. What the Kings are doing on the road is good. Home, 16-10. Again, not hideous, but if that is 17-7, we're talking about 3 more wins, 3 less losses, 36-22. You are right there with a chance. You're in 5th. I wouldn't say comfortably, but you're in 5th. 2 games clear of Phoenix and you're pushing the Clippers, Denver, OKC, and Minnesota. The home has let them down. That's for sure. Thanks, Ken, for the call. Sorry, you're breaking up there at the end. Will is next. Will, good morning. How are you?
What's up? This Styles? No,
this is Jason. This is Jason. What's
hey,
up, Will?
Jason, how you doing, man? You know what? It's devastating, man, to see how they played against the Clips, then come back. I mean, there's certain games you just cannot lose. They knew if they lose, they was going to drop 2 or 3 spots, man. I mean, you got to know that. And then beat them without Jimmy Bucket, you know. I mean, it was devastating. And that one kid from what the high top or high whatever his name
yeah,
was.
he had a great game off the bench.
He had damn near 20 points. He went to Wheeling College. Where the hell is that? I don't know. You know, here's the thing. We always have problems, even though we're a better team. We have problems against athletic 2s and 3s. That's the problem. And then, you know, I'm not blaming the whole thing. I'm blaming it on Brown. I'm not blaming it on Herder. But when Herder switch on the athletic, I mean, he just can't. His feet work. He can't be. If he's scoring, it's cool. But if he ain't scoring, you know, he's a liability on defense. And where was Monk in HB in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, and that's what I brought up. Thank you, Will, for the call. I appreciate that. And also great to hear from Ken. We hadn't heard from Ken in a long time. So I hadn't, at least. Appreciate those guys, you two guys calling in. That's what I brought up earlier. That's the push and pull, right? When the Kings started that comeback, they're down by 20. Most times, coaches leave the group they brought them back. They were within 2 with 3 minutes to go. Let me see. I keep the running score here. And Sacramento got it down to 2 with, about a little bit over 3 minutes to go. And so you have every opportunity there to come back. You're right there in the opportunity. You've already shaved off 18 points. So most likely you leave the group. Then when you lose, I thought the same thing as you did, Will. Like, oh, man, they didn't play Monk in the fourth quarter. They really didn't play Barnes. Could they have done that? That's a tough move when you've got things going your way. But the second it started to get Miami up 4, maybe back up 6, could there have been a counter? Sure, maybe that's when. But generally, coaches ride the hot hand. They got you back within 1 possession at 2 points. So that's my best answer. I mean, that's more of a question for the coach, but that would be my best answer as to why. But I think when you lose, like I said earlier, it opens up all these questions of what went wrong. Why were you down 20? What did Miami do to build that lead? Why could you not stop Jaquez? Why did they get into so many different switches to exploit people that would have trouble with Jaquez and Bam Adebayo and Kevin Love and Highsmith and the different people that got the job done for the Miami Heat? So, I mean, that's the reality. That's the way it went. Kings couldn't answer and handle all those things that Miami did provide, and credit to the Heat on that, certainly. And I guess shame on Sacramento for not being able to figure out those things. We'll kind of get you a chance to hear this again from the coach in his own words on what he felt went wrong for the team, and really what they did defensively that he thought they could have jumped into a bit earlier.
They've won 7 of 9. They went into Milwaukee without basically the same guys and beat Milwaukee by 20. So for us, I just didn't think defensively until the last quarter, we didn't get it done. One of the things that I probably could have done to help them more was probably go to zone. We played zone in the fourth quarter. And, you know, our guys were aggressive in the zone. They did a good job talking, and then they went to man at the right time. So maybe I could have helped them more by doing that. But I just thought that they outworked us throughout most of the game and ended up getting the win.
Yeah, I think that outworked part too is very evident early on, especially that bridge from the second to the third quarter. After the Kings built a 10-point lead, Miami reeled them back in, had the lead at the half, then it got up to 20, and it did feel palpable as far as the difference of the energy and execution and work that Miami was putting out there. Then when the Kings got into that mode of sink or swim, they went for it, and they brought back and came all the way back to within 2. But Miami ends up with that season sweep over Sacramento. And again, at the end, If the Kings are not in the spot that's ideal for them, I mean, they can only blame themselves from some of these games where they've played teams without their full complement of players. All right, so tonight, what do we want to watch for as Kings fans? They don't play, but there's some things that can help them. Looking for help around the NBA, we'll tell you what to watch, what's out there, some other news and notes as we continue here leading up to Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins. Jason Ross, Chris Verlot here this morning on Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's Tuesday. We're looking at a chilly start to the day, but we'll rebound nicely this afternoon. Look for mostly sunny skies and north wind about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Highs today in the mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emron Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations used leather for water skins, armor, and sandals. Hi, this is Franklin Rosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Today, leather is one of nature's most luxurious products. The combination of leather with beautifully designed furniture creates an end product that adds luxury and sophistication to any room. During Naturewood Home Furnishings leather sale, you'll find their considerable selection of leather is flexible, breathable, natural, and maybe most important, comfortable. Whether you're a relaxed contemporary kind of person or you're more classic leather, Naturewood Home Furnishings has color choices and styles to fit your home. In fact, I doubt any store can beat Naturewood's selection. During Naturewood's leather sale, all leather furniture is on sale for a limited time. Sit, enjoy the comfort of leather at Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
We had Ken earlier talking about Jaime Jaquez, and he didn't realize how good he was. He went 18th in the draft. I was looking back at last year's draft. But again, these guys aren't all finished products, and things can change. But a lot of teams above the Heat probably would have loved him, including the team right above them, the Lakers. Could have picked him, could have stayed right there in L.A. I look at teams
That's the thing. I'm like, man, I wish the Kings could have gotten Jaime. But then on the other hand, I'm like, oh, I'm glad he didn't go to the Lakers.
Yeah. Chris, the teams that, these are people that are considered very good at drafting. Danny Ainge in the past. He drafted twice ahead of Jaime Jaquez, didn't elect to take him. The Magic had 2 picks ahead as well at 6 and 11, didn't elect to take Jaime Jaquez. And I think it's environment, where you land. Jaquez is a good player. He really is. But Miami's going to get everything out of you. That's what they do. And the Kings are trying to figure out that themselves as well. We're going to talk about what to watch here for tonight, what you want to root for as a Kings fan. Let's check in with AC first. We root for AC. Good morning, AC.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for being the nicest person in radio.
You don't know me off air.
We got to get you a little sash. You can wear it at the studio.
A sash?
Yeah, like Miss America. They put
Okay.
it for us. Nice.
I'll wear that. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's on your mind today?
I was really, obviously, like a lot of Kings fans, I was really upset about last night. But we put ourselves in this hole where we think, oh, hey, they're down a few players. We can win this game. And we, like someone else mentioned, that Jaime Hawkins guy, I'm not just saying that, he's going to be an all-star someday. That guy's a stud. He was Kobe-esque last night, and he could do no wrong. It was just unbelievable. I do feel the refs were a little asleep. You know that the NBA is pretty famous for not calling traveling calls too much. The Heat like to travel a lot. It's interesting. They do the little pitter-patter of the feet when they come up for a shot and stuff. And I was screaming at the TV, but the refs weren't buying it, unfortunately. But
they weren't listening.
If we could just, Jason, I have a theory for success. If we could just not tell the team, hey, so-and-so's not playing tonight, I think we have a better chance of winning. Because every time a team is down a couple key players, we fall asleep at the wheel, which is unfortunate.
And I got the numbers here. Thank you, AC, for the call and the comments. 18-11 is the Kings' record against teams without a starter, multiple starters, key players. That's the number I've been able to look up the best I can. Maybe there's other numbers that could be. So they have won more than they've lost, but 11's a lot of losses. And I think last night, again, I don't lump Miami exactly. I mean, they're putting in this category as an 11th loss. I don't take it the same way. I have too much respect for that organization, too much respect for the players they actually did have out there. I think that roster is better than people think of the players that weren't out there. That's all fine. That still doesn't mean the Kings shouldn't have been able to beat them. And not only all the things you said, Jaquez was great. Kevin Love was good. Bam Adebayo, Caleb Martin, go down the line. But I think the Kings also helped them in this sense. Turnovers early, maybe some lineups I think that could be in question that they had. I think they fit into Miami. And then the Kings didn't have an answer for when Miami really got physical and did those post-ups. And you get seasoned pros like Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo, guys that really know how to play, that feel like they've got an advantage. They will take advantage of you. And then you get a rookie in Jaime Jaquez who played 4 years, though, in college. And one-on-one, he's a problem. I mean, you look at other players that have this, either dominant height or speed or size or incredible athletic ability. Skill can still dominate a game. We're seeing that with Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is incredibly skilled. The game's best player is probably the most skilled in Nikola Jokic. And last night, Jaquez, fundamentals still work in this game. They do. Footwork, pivot, turn, shake, just keep people off balance. When you're trying to score, what you're trying to find your advantage. What is it? It could be you create it with that height or that speed, your jump, your the shots you take, but you've got to get to that spot, to your spot. And for Jaquez, it was putting guys in a blender, basically. I mean, he was right, left, up, and under, just a lot of different moves and a lot of skill there. And you've got to be ready for that. And if it's a guy like Herter on the starting five who's not their best defender, he was getting cooked. Then it's Barnes. Then it's, pick your guy. He was fooling even some of the better defenders on the team. And so Miami noticed the advantages and capitalized. That's what good teams do. Now, the Kings changed things late, got into that frenetic situation, and did a better job, but they found themselves down too much, got it to within 2. But in the end, it wasn't enough. All right, let's get another one here before we tell you what to watch tonight. How about Brandon? Brandon, welcome into Sactown Sports. Good morning.
Jason, how you doing, man? Love the show.
Thank you. Appreciate that. How are you?
I'm doing great. On the way to work, I was thinking, when I'm watching the game, I love everything that Trey Lyles brings, the way he plays defense, how hard he plays, and being able to extend bigs out to the perimeter. But do you think if it comes down to a play-in game situation or even a playoff series, that's somewhere where the other team's going to look to attack? It seems like whenever Sabonis is out, he already has his issues, rim protection, but when he's out, it really just leaves the interior exposed. We have a hard time getting rebounds. What do you feel about that moving forward?
Yeah, and thank you, Brandon, for the call. I appreciate it in your comments as well. Yes, I think teams will attack the paint. I think they'll attack Lyles. I think they'll attack Sabonis. I think they do have more of a presence on the bench in McGee and Len. Now, maybe that's a counter the Kings can try and utilize. But generally, I think Mike Brown and the coaching staff goes to more of their skilled players. And the skilled players, to me, are their starting 5, Monk and Trey Lyles. I mean, you could throw in Davion Mitchell there, too. I mean, they're all skilled. Maybe I didn't phrase that right. But the guys that really can produce the best version of this team, which still is their offense. And I think that's the lean. And that was always my pushback when everybody said, yeah, they need a rim protector. They need a better perimeter defender. Yes, and yes, and yes. Are they going to be played? I think the Kings still lean to playing small, playing athletic as they could be, spreading the floor, shooting. And that's not always a problem. Sometimes that's when they thrive. But when they don't, it's glaring. When they are undersized, when they get pushed around and bullied and can't handle other teams playing big in the post, or they don't have much of a threat in paint protection. It's a weakness of this team. You can't fill all the voids, but I think they could do a better job of limiting some of those gaps, if that makes sense. So thank you for that call. We appreciate that, Brandon. All right, tonight, what to watch for those of you that are spring training fans. There's a couple baseball games. You got the Giants and Mariners, A's and Guardians. NBA fans, all right, we're always going to talk about the Western Conference top 10. Who's in action tonight? Well, half of the top 10 is in action, and none of them are playing one another. So here's what you're rooting for as a Kings fan. We'll start with probably the lowest odds and probably the least impactful on Sacramento. At the top of the standings is Minnesota and OKC. Minnesota, they play the San Antonio Spurs. Got to believe that Minnesota win that game at home. Stranger things have happened, but Minnesota should win. The Thunder also tied for first place at 40-17. They're at home. They take on the Rockets again. You never know, but OKC has won 5 consecutive games. Now, the games to keep your eye on with more of a likelihood of getting some help. The Warriors at the Wizards. Chris gave the Wizards stat. They're one of the coldest teams in the league. They've lost 11 in a row. Can Jordan Poole have revenge on the Golden State Warriors? Likely not, but they're behind the Kings. Beginning of the night's play, 3.5 back. The Warriors could gain a half game if they were to win in D.C. The games that have a chance to help the Kings tonight, I would say, is Dallas on the road in Cleveland. Mavs are now 33-24. The Cavs are 37-19. This one's played in Cleveland. You root for the Cavs tonight. The Kings could have sole possession of that spot that they are currently tied with Dallas. The other place I think there's some potential help, the Pelicans are on the road in New York against the Knicks. Knicks did play last night. They got a win barely. Controversial win over Detroit, but that's an opportunity maybe to give the Pelicans their 25th loss of the season. So as far as what to watch, you as a Kings fan, you root for the Cavs over the Mavs, the Wizards over the Warriors, the Knicks over the Pelicans, and you hope the Spurs could surprise the T-Wolves or the Rockets at the Thunder. Still, at the end of all this, Sacramento must continue to win as many games at a high rate as possible, and their next opportunity is Denver tomorrow. Our next opportunity is a chance to talk with Styles and Watkins. We got Crosstalk coming up, and we'll see how they do on celebrity birthdays. That straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
This year, Dell Technologies wants to help you do amazing things with their best tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th, World One presents The Jacksons. Don't miss The Jacksons with Sister Sledge and special guest The Tramps featuring Earl Young. Live on one stage, The Jacksons with Sister Sledge, March 30th at the venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com.
Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than freshly baked and home-delivered crumble cookies.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Spanish styles.
That's right. That's right.
We have not told you what we said our prediction was of what you would say, so I'm just going to ask the question. How did you do? How was your night on Spanish radio?
How should we do this?
How did you do as a statistician?
Should we say a grade?
No, I want you to just say, like, how would you say your night went?
I think if I put myself in his shoes, I think I would say this guy probably hasn't done this before, but he knew some things and he helped me out.
I think I'm closer.
Yeah, I think you're closer.
If we asked him, he'd probably give me a B to B minus.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I would say.
And like I told you, I've been in many other arenas before where I've had a statistician where it's like, I don't even know why they're here because I don't feel like they've done anything. To others, like, oh, they're great. I mean, I didn't realize that there's other information they're handing. It's like awesome. It's a grab bag.
There was stuff that he had that I didn't have due to, he's got the login for the official NBA stats account, which I didn't have. So there was some stuff that he had that I didn't have, but I had some stuff that he didn't have either. So I think it evened out. That's why I'd lean more towards a B at 3.0.
That's nice. That works. That's more than passing.
That's right.
Here's my running. Did you keep a running score? Like that's chicken scratch. I know what I'm writing, but
that's what Scott was saying, running score. But he said just hop in my ear.
Can I see that?
Yeah. Does it make any sense? Wow. See if it makes sense to you.
But you're not handing that to them. You're
not
using it to tell them.
Right. So then I'll know, like, gosh, it feels like at the end when the Kings were on run. Okay, what was the largest deficit? It was 20. Oh wow, 17-3. Like, you know, you have to do quick math sometimes.
Right. Like the specific app I had said. It was the end of the half, and I said, hey, they ended on a 15-5 run. But he said he went to the other app that he had, the official one, and it said it was actually 22-7, which sounds better.
Yeah, it depends.
And I said, I don't got that one.
Yeah.
Just get a scorebook, Jason.
Well, so I have my way, and then I know what, like, for example, let me see, like Keegan at 12 in the first, 15, 17, then it's like, okay, like in the fourth quarter, wow.
Okay.
Because G-Man will also have a thing in front of him that has like 1 through 50. So like when Keegan scores 9.28. So it's just a quick, he might look, he might not, but now he knows, well, Keegan Murray with a bucket, he's got 28 points, and he's got a second line of like in the quarter. And so to me, it's not really that interesting unless it's more than 10 points in the quarter. So I might go 28 and 11, and just, we've done it for 20-something years, and he knows like 28, 11 of those in the fourth quarter. Or if he's like fourth quarter Fox, I'm like, I know he's talking about the quarter, then I just might hit. He's got 11 points or whatever it is.
Chris helped me out. He was the one who told me about the app, and then the app had like Duncan Robinson was garbage yesterday, and I had he takes a shot. Duncan Robinson has missed 6 straight threes, so I would tell him that. So he had, so he likes him. So that got me to the beat.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the Spanish barrier, was that a problem? Or
no, well, my mom is Panamanian, so I understand enough. So I could tell if he just said something to not say what he just said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't bad.
Good.
It wasn't bad. And, unfortunately, it happened against the Kings, but when they were rolling at the end, he was getting hype, and it was fun. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was at the mercy of the Kings. Yeah.
Alan, do you know about Jason calling the Celtics game for the Celtics in Sacramento?
It's so good.
No.
So there was a situation where the Celtics were live and announced that they needed someone kind of late, last minute. And it was at Golden One. So I'm broadcasting for the Celtics, which was great. It was fun to do. I'm working with them. Obviously, I want the Kings to win, but I'm now working. The audio's going back to Boston. And I never thought before the game of this scenario coming up, which actually happened. It came down to the buzzer beater, and it was perfect for me personally because Marcus Smart got to the foul line, running floater, down 1, and it's one of those bounce, and then fell out. So had it went in, I mean, I'd have to go in, like, let's go, screaming, which, wait, who are you rooting for? But it was easier to go like, oh,
I'd love to see someone like that knows you like turn around and be like, what?
Yeah, and like Kings fans would have been disappointed. I'm like, the Celtics have come in. I would have been laying it on thick,
that
going,
in your pipe and smoke it.
I was lucky.
Wow,
that it fell out like that. But I never thought of that. I don't know why I didn't even think of this scenario going in. It's like, oh, this would be fun doing a game for another team just one time. And,
because the Kings are bad.
And the Kings weren't very good. And they actually Boston was good and the Kings beat them. But
that's probably the last time the Kings beat the Celtics.
He might be right.
That was a great game.
It was. Buddy was really good, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can replay that Marcus Smart.
Who are you talking about?
What?
You said Buddy.
Yeah.
Who? I don't know.
Buddy Hield?
Oh, I thought it was like Fox or something. You're like, oh, yeah, Buddy.
My buddy.
Yeah.
Your buddy. What do you guys got coming up on the show today?
Sean Cunningham,
right.
Fox at 1:30. And yeah, I mean, everybody is going to rip into the Kings today.
Yeah.
But I think really we're just going to discuss what went wrong and play some sound. And really the bottom line is any team under the 4 seed, right, 4 seed or below, that team is either overperforming or underperforming.
Yeah.
And they're all going to miss opportunities. And the question is, which teams from that second tier are going to miss the least amount of opportunities? And that was not the Kings last night.
Yeah, that's I asked this to Chris earlier. I asked you guys this. So the Kings, just at their record, the teams that are basically them, the same record, would include Phoenix, New Orleans, Dallas, and if we went to the East, the Knicks, Philly, and Miami. I mean, what is the difference in any of it? Like, they're all kind of the same. Like, some nights you're like, wow, Miami looks really good, or the Kings look really good, or Phoenix.
The only difference is Philly, which you shouldn't even count because they don't have Embiid.
Right. But if they continue like this, I don't think they'll do anything.
Nope.
Yeah. I know, are you guys doing Blame Pie today? Are you doing that or no?
We have that on.
Okay.
Penciled in.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say just unofficially, I was not totally surprised. I would say more of kind of throwing the daggers at Coach Brown.
That's how it goes, man. A
Yeah.
lot of people have been throwing a lot of shade at Coach Brown. And
Yeah.
I think, he
It's
definitely deserves a
justified.
part of it
Absolutely.
for sure. But
I was a little surprised though on that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
All right, well, let's do some celebrity birthdays, guys. See how you do here. Brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. Let's start with, happy birthday to Jay. The letter J.
Leno. Oh.
Z.
JJ Stokes.
J. Wow. Jersey Shore.
You said the letter J. That's why I wasn't saying
You guys
anything.
watch Jersey Shore?
Yes.
It's still cooking.
Is it?
Oh, now, yeah, they're on
family
family
vacation.
vacation.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
they brought back Sammy Sweetheart. So
They're
it's
always on
really
vacation.
full. Yeah, it's a great life.
Yeah.
They got kids now too. Who watches the kids?
I don't know. Jay
The
Wow.
situation has had a situation.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, a couple situations.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's why I put this one in here for you guys.
J
That was
Wow, and it's crazy if you actually watch because J Wow is probably 44.
Okay.
Well, that's I'll say 41.
42.
Chris Watkins closest 39.
What?
Sorry, wow.
Wow.
One of them is in their 40s. One of them is in their 40s. I know
The
that.
situation is for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's the oldest.
Happy birthday to Chelsea.
Handler.
Grammer.
Gray.
Chelsea Gray. Yeah,
Clinton.
Ah,
there you go.
Chelsea Clinton.
Okay.
She is 46.
really? 42.
I'll split 44.
The split was right. Dead on. Correct answer,
Beautiful.
44. Happy birthday, Tony.
Danza.
Soprano.
Bennett.
Harvey.
Gonzalez.
Ah.
Once considered the game's best tight end. He's still up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
He's up
Dual threat. Great college basketball
Cal,
player,
right?
too.
Yeah.
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 What's TG?
Just off today. You can go 43.
I'll say 46.
48.
We have a correct answer. It's Christopher Laud, 48.
Wow.
I don't know like how these
I am
older
way
people
off.
that you're like saying are close to my age.
Happy birthday, James.
Almost.
Fauntleroy.
Franco.
James
Game,
Edward Almost.
James Worthy. James Worthy, former Laker.
I'll let Chris start this.
Let's see here. Worthy is around Michael Jordan's age. We'll say 64.
62.
That was what I was going to say. 63.
You split the difference?
Yeah.
Feel good about that?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Right on, 63.
I got one.
There you go.
Come on.
That's it for us. Styles and Watkins coming your way next right here on Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one.